Okay, we're gonna start, we started at 6:30 with the police chief and a promotionary interview for an employee. And then we're gonna, just before we get to public comment, we're gonna do a couple of appointments for boards and committees. Oh, all right, yeah. I take a week off and it's sick and I forget what I'm doing. Let's have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For your report. All right, so, like I said, we got one reappointment and a new appointment. Bobby Joe. For a reappointment to the zoning board. One more time?
Yep. Yes.
Any other questions? I know, right?
Thank you for volunteering.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's
To do my part.
we're always in need of volunteers for subcommittees, always. And this is your second?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the first one wasn't a complete term.
short,
I
right?
came in, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Any questions?
No?
What do you enjoy the most about being on the zoning board?
Well, it is something that I am able to, offer time-wise to do something for the town. I know that a lot of things are short-staffed. And I do find it interesting. And, I don't know what else to say.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, you got something on your mind?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion. Well, you got the paperwork, I don't.
Yeah, I sure do. Can you tell me how to pronounce your last name properly?
Plamondon.
Plamondon? All right. I'll move that we appoint Bobby Joe Plamondon to the ZBA as a full member for a term of 3 years, which I guess would be, but going back to our whole March discussions, that would be.
Yeah, well, on there I put March 26, because I didn't know if you wanted to do 27 or just 2+ years. On the bottom, it
I
says
see it.
expire.
I see it.
So
So,
be like 2.5.
yeah, I think that's fine. So to a term expiring March 2026.
Okay, makes sense. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You could just stop by and see Maureen sometime and
Yep.
get sworn in, we should be good.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
Go
And
ahead and
we,
sign.
yeah,
And then you have Andrew
yep,
for the cable committee.
come on up. I'm live, gonna try your last name.
Liz
That's
Maurice.
okay. It's French, so it's fun.
Yeah.
It's Lemarys.
Maurice, okay. Okay. And this is your first time with the cable committee?
Yep. I've been aware for about 1.5 years. So I've been talking with Doug and John, and they've been kind of showing me what they do day to day for the TV committee.
Okay. And that's obviously a background you enjoy.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology
lot of
involved in it.
technology. Okay.
I worked for Geek Squad for about 7 years. I was in the Army before that.
Okay. Perfect.
Do you have any ideas of what you do to improve things?
Not yet, but there's definitely plenty of ways to. There's a way that they could do a backup solution to help keep any files safe. Right now, it's still, there's a backup, but it could be better.
Okay. Yeah, something that we have been burned by as recently as a couple of months ago was the backup system was apparently manual. Or, sorry, not the backup, but the recording of the cable broadcast is apparently a manual process.
Mhm.
So it'd be great to automate that
Definitely.
somehow. Also, we signed an agreement with Comcast, a 7-year agreement, and that gives us, I think it was 30 grand
Yes.
to spend on improvements for cable committee-like things. It's for
Equipment and-
the 2 public access channels.
Mhm.
And one thing we have talked about is setting up the room upstairs, the conference room up there, like this room is set up.
Yep.
So just something to think about.
Yeah, I was talking about doing 2 meeting rooms.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We're getting to that size.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
all right, any other questions? Okay. All right, I'll move that we, and you know it's 3 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll move that we approve Andrew, or appoint Andrew to be a full cable committee member for a term of 3 years to expire March of 2026, right? That we decided?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, and all those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. So if you could stop in and see the town clerk at some point, and get sworn in.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your volunteering.
Yes, very much so. Okay, public comment.
Hi, Kyle Parker, Old Francistown Road. I appreciate that the stamped plan issue is on the agenda tonight. I really wanted to speak, but there's nothing for me to really say until I hear kind of what happens. So if it's appropriate and you guys want, I'm going to stay for the meeting. And if you have any questions of me as far as that goes, and it's appropriate for me to come up, I will come up and speak.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eldon Towns, 111 Huntington Hill. I'm here to voice my opinion about the building certification engineered stamp plan request that is new, I think since the interim building inspector was brought in, right? It's a burden for homeowners to have to go through that process. One, it's money, and two, on the other end, I've seen confusion when a current building inspector can make suggestions outside of an engineered stamp plan. So I think it's best that we don't continue that. It's been fine the way it is. We build simple sub 4,000 square foot homes all the time. Not that I do, but the town, you know, we really don't get above that kind of square footage of living space, so. And I don't know where the line is drawn for a certified engineered stamp plan. Is it a shed? Is it a square footage? I don't know. So it's something we've never needed, I don't think we need. I've seen building inspectors in this town go away from the book and request things such as, in my expertise, septic systems. Growing up through, there's always been a bed bottom inspection on new construction. And then once I've concentrated more on that type of work, I found that the town didn't have it on the books. So it's been something that's been done by each inspector. Romeo stopped doing it because I pointed it out to him. That was the good thing about him, he was by the book. I don't know if it was included in the 2018 building regs that we voted through that now we have bed bottom inspections. But point being is building inspectors come in and do what they want outside of the book, and we can't have that. So if this certified building engineered plan thing was asked of by a prior building inspector, and now we're doing it because the last guy did it, but it's not on the book, we can't ask our residents to do it. So we have a book for a reason. My background was some racing. You have a rule book that you build your car by. Your tech, which is much like your building inspector, your tech inspector. If the car is to the book, it's good, it's legal, you go. That's how it should be, just black and white. Moving on to another point, I'd like to see your correspondence tonight onto an email that I sent you guys about winter sand specs and further specs on any bids you guys have. For example, the forestry bid seemed to be a mess with some reputable contractors that I think had a fair deal in the project. And third and lastly, the nice price thing down at the transfer station, you gotta tighten that ship. Get some weights and scales down there, measures. You don't know where the profit and the loss begins or ends down there with dump. So there needs to be a measurement of some sort. There's a lot of technology out there, such as volume scales, weight scales, that is accurate nowadays, that the town could look into doing. And, yeah, so, have a good night, guys.
Thanks, Hilton. Go on. The first two speakers have recognized it, but there is a 5-minute public comment, just so you know.
Okay, yep. I don't think I'll need
Okay,
all 5
that's fine,
minutes.
that's fine.
John Morton, Eastman Way. I got a letter here, which you guys should have a copy as well, from the Attorney General. And the Attorney General's office says they submit this to clarify what appears to be a misconception that has developed with respect to conflicts of interest involving local officials. So on November 1st, at the Finance Committee meeting, Chief Moore actually stood up and said that he had spoken to the Public Integrity Unit and that they gave him a direction with regards to one of the members of the Finance Committee that they needed to recuse themselves per the Public Integrity Unit. So this letter, which you guys have a copy of that, states that that's not true. That they want to say that they review all criminal allegations against state officials, local law enforcement officers. We do not review local conflicts of interest, nor do we investigate local town officials aside from law enforcement officers. It does say the chief is also asked to relay this information to town officials and to correct any inaccuracy. To my knowledge, there hasn't been any correction. There's nothing in the Finance Committee minutes. There's nothing in your minutes. Is that true? You guys have any correction?
Be honest, I just saw it today.
Okay, interesting, thank you.
Frank Campana, see if I can make the time limit. On the 27th this month, you had a presentation by the police chief for his budget. I wasn't able to attend that meeting, but I viewed it very, very scantily. It was a PowerPoint presentation, so I requested a copy of that presentation from Beth, and she provided it to me. And actually, I asked her for a budget printout, and she provided me that, that presentation. So it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, so she provided me with a typical budget print-off like you folks usually have. And I was, as I went through it, what caught my eye, and I don't know if it caught your eye yet, if it's going to catch your eye, if it's going to make any difference to you or not, but there's a line in there, a new line, 286A. Now, I went through back to 2019 in budgets. I went through 7 budgets. Don't do the math because within that there was a couple of budgets. There were 4 of them in the same year that I used. I have copies of them here. And that line has never been in there. And what 286A is, police cruiser. Okay? And as it indicated here, there's no, going back to 21, there's no dollar amounts in there. And it's highlighted as a reason for the increase or decrease, new vehicle with upfit. Okay? Now, I attended the CIP last year. I didn't do it this year with the police chief. But I do remember distinctly, and I don't know, he might have said it publicly also, that for the CIP, that he wanted to get a car in his budget. So here it is, all right? This is his attempt to do that. So, you know, this person, he's the police chief, but he's not a, you know, he's not a god, all right, for lack of a better word. And he wants things done his way. So he's going to forego the CIP if you folks approve this. All right, the budget that it's written, and I'm encouraging you to wipe that line out. Because it's gonna fly in the face of the CIP. You had a CIP presentation within the last couple of meetings. All right, a lot of time involved. He wants to skirt that, all right? He wants to skirt the voters to have a say, yes or no to a vehicle, by having it in his budget, all right? So I don't think he's in a position, and the selectmen should not have him in a position where he can make decisions like that, to put a vehicle in his budget, and again, skirt the CIP. I made the comment before, if that holds true for the police chief, then the road agent should put all his vehicles in an operating budget, all right? Forget the voters, you know, fly in the face of the voters. So I just want to make you aware of that. I know when he was successful in getting his personal car through a grant, you folks approved that. And I likened it to a quarterback in a football game. I'm not that well versed in football, but you know, the quarterback comes up with a play, and his offensive team members, you know, get him to the goal line. All right. So here's the quarterback in the sense of a police chief. All right. He presented his card to you folks. You were the offensive line, and you approved it. You got him to the goal line. So I don't want to see this personally, and I think it was it should be discussed by you folks. But let's move very cautiously about putting vehicles like that in the you know, in the operating budget. And if you're going to do it for everybody. And I'm by no means suggesting that. That's it.
All right.
Again, the number is 286, line A.
Hi, I'm Darcy Dearborn, Old Francistown Road and Ware. I want to kind of go on with what Mr. Town said about the building permits and stuff, being an extra expense for the stamp and stuff. My daughter just tried to get a builder permit, and she's already hired somebody. They drew up half the plans. She went up to the town with me, and we found out they wanted this stamp and all that. We called our guy, and he's like, I've been working with Reggie Hool and stuff for over 40 years. He's never done that before. He contacted the town, and they kind of gave him the rigmarole. We don't know exactly what was told, but he called up and he quit. So she's actually lost her money. He quit on us, and we have an excavator sitting in the backyard and no building permit. And we're trying to figure out, like, what do we do now? Like, do we have to have this stamp? We've called other towns today, and most of them, a couple didn't call us back. Most of them said they do not need the stamp if you're under, and he sent us the paper. If you're under a one-family home, under 4,000 square feet, that you do not need this stuff. So I want to probably stay and listen to this and go from there. Anything else? But I agree with him.
Anybody else for public comment? Okay. We'll move on to the certified building plan discussion. Recognize Jack.
My name is Jack Shepherd. I'm currently the building inspector for Goffstown. Before that, I was interim here, so started on February 22nd of this year. And I am a certified, actually I'm a structural and civil engineer. I went to MIT, Wentworth, Northeastern. I'm a retired OSHA inspector. I believe in the International Commercial Code, which the state and the governor adopted in 2003, which covers the IBC code and the IRC, which is residential, and the IBC code is commercial. It protects the homeowner, especially in the town, against any imperfections in the code, fires, structural fall downs. The day I started, I inspected a piece of property on, I was called over to a piece of property on East Shore Drive. The house was condemned because someone built it not to IRC specs. And the first floor and the second floor are falling away from the house because they never followed the code. And the code, and he never put a set of plans in. They tore it down completely and rebuilt it. It's just like a new construction. Under IRC section R106, construction documents, R106.1, submittal documents, it states, the construction documents shall be prepared by a registered design professional. And the definition of registered by the OPLC is either a PE or a structural engineer. They don't differentiate in the state of New Hampshire when you look up their licenses. I think it would be an injustice if the town of Ware has adopted the codes. The state adopted codes. It goes on the most stringent. Most stringent at this point would be the ICC codes. I'll use an example. I had two builders here in town, and back in February or March, seeking permits, and I requested that they submitted certified registered plans. So I inspected a company out of Manchester, and they forgot the whole shear wall. I called them. They didn't know what ICC meant. They didn't know the correct codes, which means that that house could have been a danger for someone to live in, eventually, whether snow load, wind shear, or anything like that. I believe in the codes, always have been, and it's not because I'm an engineer. It's just that I was a builder too, and I had to follow the same regulations, same codes. Mine was BOCA codes. I believe in safety first, okay? My idea, I know it's a burden to come in and have someone stamp it, but these draftsmen are getting away with, anybody can operate an AutoCAD machine and design a house. It's getting the correct loads and correct codes on there that are very important to this building trade and to help the people not catch on fire. Number one, electrical codes. Even though it's done by a licensed electrician, Shane Johnson and I, we inspected quite a few together, and we found we had a couple in this town that were wrong by licensed electricians. That's getting away from as far as a registered design professional. It's defined as being a stamped engineer, okay, whether it be structural or civil. And as far as square footage goes, there's no definition of below so many square feet. IRC is residential. Residential can go up to 10,000 square feet, and we're between 380 square feet up to 10,000. But it still requires a registered stamp set of plans for them to build it, and that's what they state in the codes. And it's left on the building inspector under RSA 155A7 to enforce this and to make sure it's done right by these builders that will build something and leave. I've seen decks fall right off the second floor and 20 people go to the ground. I've seen 46 deaths under OSHA, okay, because of building codes. And I just don't want to see it. And as I said, that's one in this town, and then there was a couple more that I picked up on. The snow loads are wrong. They were only 60-pound snow load, and the roof was swaying. So, and that's why in February, March, and April, when I was here with 1 day a week and then 3 nights a week, I did enforce it, okay? I required it for the simple reason is I was thinking about the homeowner, not because of the expense, but for safety, okay? These builders work on X amount of dollars. I understand the homeowners, the builders just pass it on to the homeowners, okay? However, if it's designed properly, there's no problem. Why can't they hire or give it to some alternative design? I filled 10 of those in in Goffstown. And in turn, they went out and got a structural engineer to stamp it properly and check their work. The same thing goes for any other person. And then they have to put the codes in there. The governor adopted it in July of 2022, and January 1st of last year, the 2018 code came into effect right across the board for the whole state. Some towns up north, they don't have building codes, so the state inspectors go up there and they adopt their own. And I don't know what else I can say about it, it's just that I think it would be very ill-advised not to keep the ICC code in the town of Ware. And it's more restrictive. It's already adopted by the governor. The governor signed in, the state signed it in. They're not telling you what to do. They're not saying anything. They're here to protect the people in the state. And that's why the governor signed in. I belong to the NHBOA board, and we do the same thing. And now all our meetings, we discuss everything. And that's why we do the classes, to update everything. I don't know what else to say, but I believe in this wholeheartedly. And it's unfortunately that some of these designers, if you want to call them designers, I call them draftsmen, will design something, charge someone $3,000 to $4,000 for a set of plans that you can do yourself on a CAD machine, and say, okay, it's stamped, you're all set. Or they bring a design up from Florida or Texas with a 20-pound snow load. And then people up here build it, and it doesn't pass muster. So the last line of defense is the building inspector. And that's why when we go out and we inspect, make sure everything's correct, we go to the code book to make sure everything is correct and the people are protected against any ill. So, any questions?
Who was the building inspector on the house that was built on East Shore Drive?
Romeo?
He was the building
He was the
inspector?
building inspector, the one previous to that, Chip something?
Chip Meany.
Chip
Yeah,
Meany?
yeah,
So he obviously didn't check the building out too much.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
And
I don't think he opened the book.
when you started this code that you're doing now?
Yes.
With a stamp, having to have a stamp, you started that when?
February 22nd of this year.
All right.
In Goffstown, they've adopted always.
Okay, have you heard about, I mean, I've talked to several people, I've talked to a state inspector too,
Yep,
and this 310A42 that states that you don't have to do this for preparations of drawing and specifications on supervision of the construction or alteration of a single-family or a two-family resident, or of any building used for farm purposes?
oh, yeah, agricultural is a different animal.
Well, yeah, but it's saying single and two-family right here.
Yep,
And it's saying as long as it's less than two and a half stories or less, 4,000 square feet or less, that you
That's-
don't need a stamp.
that's part of the architectural designers.
That's state, that's a
Yeah,
state.
That's state architectural, yes, OPLC.
Yeah,
Yes, but that doesn't cover your structural. And so who's to catch the structural on it? And where the ICC helps us to catch the structural, and this is more stringent than that is. And we have to go more restrictive in what the code says according to what the law says. And we're regulated to do that by being building inspectors. You know, we can't just say we're not gonna do it because XYZ can't afford it. And just look the other way for safety-wise. Even though the state Attorney General's office sent that out, this supersedes anything they come, because this is international commercial code that the governor already signed in along with the BCRB board.
but is there actually does it actually say the IRC has to have a stamp on it?
Yeah, this is from the IRC book. This here. That's the code right from the IRC book.
Jack, I believe part of that same sentence has the
where required by the statutes of the jurisdiction.
Yes.
So what is the
Jurisdiction-
requirement of the statutes of the jurisdiction?
The
What
more
is that?
restrictive on the jurisdiction would be, the jurisdiction would be either the town, if it's more restrictive than what the state has mandated and signed into law, okay, that would take precedence. If it's less restrictive, the state would take precedence.
So which specific statute does Ware have or the state have that says design professionals is required? Registered design professional stamps are required.
It's under the the state adopted the IRC, the governor signed it into law under, I forget what bill number, I think it was bill number 542, don't quote me on that. But he signed into law last July in 2022. Gave a 6-month interim for people in towns to catch up for the new codes to take over. New codes came into effect immediately as of January 1st midnight. And that it states that the state of New Hampshire has adopted the 2018 building code, IRC, IBC, ICC codes, the plumbing codes, and also the NFPA 2018.
Yeah, there's a whole paragraph of them,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's from the fire marshal's office.
Right. But I think that's very pertinent where required by the statutes of the jurisdiction. So what do we have in Ware or New Hampshire that says a registered design professional stamp is required?
See, that's, well, if you look up a definition under the ICC, okay, you can go ICC safe and it's in there. It states that a registered designer is registered with the OPLC in the state of New Hampshire. That's their register, okay, for engineers. The OPLC is, and that's in Concord. But as far as jurisdiction goes, I mean, the town is the jurisdiction, it's a municipality, but again, it goes right back to the more restrictive on the law. And that's why they came up with this code. And believe me, it's part of the BCRB board, and they all got together, and we have lawyers on there, everybody's on that board. And it's passed the Senate, it's passed legislature, and it took them a long while to do there's amendments in there for the solar, and there's other amendments in there that the fire marshal wanted in there properly. But to answer your question, it's part of the code. It's in the code, 106.1. I don't know if I answered your question or not.
I don't think it did
Okay.
because where required by the statutes. Which statute tells me that that's required? I think we're
Well, then now you
talking
come,
around it,
now you
not,
come back to RSA 155A7, which is the building official has the jurisdiction to decide whether or not this design set of plans is good or bad, okay? If it's done by Joe down the street and it doesn't meet shear wall or snow load or anything like that, it's rejected. And the building official catches that. It says that right in RSA 155A7, which is, I think I have a copy of it here. It states, "The local enforcement agency appointed to enforce the state building code shall have the authority to inspect all buildings, structures, construction sites, and other places in the jurisdiction. If consent of such inspection is denied or the responsibility obtainable, you go to RSA 595B to get a probable cause from a judge to inspect."
yeah, I'm not trying to say that you don't have the ability as a building inspector to
Yeah.
inspect. I'm just trying to figure out where the requirement
In the
is
code.
derived.
In the code.
Right, but the code says where required by the statutes of the jurisdiction.
Right, statute of jurisdiction, this is, I wish Bill was here, but anyways.
Bill, who's Bill? I'm sorry.
He's NHBOA, he's the president of
Thank you.
NHBOA, so. But we all comply with the codes and to the letter. There are a few things that come into play But if you walk into a house, you have your minimum is 7 foot high from floor to ceiling, okay? And they've got a 6 foot, 11 3/4. Am I gonna fail them? No. All the expense they went through? No, I'm not. But I'm gonna note it that I allowed it. So the town doesn't have liability on it. And this is designed so the towns, to protect the towns also for liability. If a house caves in and it's not by code, and someone dies in that house, and the building inspector didn't do his job due diligently, okay, by following the code, then what happens is that they sue the town, because building inspectors are exempt from being sued by state law. And the RSA 155A7. And that's why I think it's important to protect the town and the people of the town for this. I understand it's a burden, extra cost up front, okay, if you're building a new house. But it doesn't, I'm not talking about additions or garages. That does not, I don't require that in Goffstown. I don't require building permits for that. But if it's gonna be habitable space and someone's life is in jeopardy, I require it to the letter of the law.
Okay. One follow-up.
Yep.
RSA 310A52 says that it will not be required under those set of circumstances. So how do you reconcile A310 or 310A52 with requiring it on everything?
I go back to the governor's signature on what he adopted and the state legislature adopted. And that's a legal matter. I would give it to my town attorney, you know, to protect the town at that point.
But Jack, when the town hires a building inspector, we're hiring you because we're having you watch the different steps in the build.
I'm protecting liability for the town, yes.
Right, you're following the steps, so you have to go out when the foundation's in, you have to go in and sign off.
Correct.
You go back out when it's framed, you have to sign off.
Yes.
You go back in when the electrical's done, you gotta sign off.
Yes.
When the plumbing's done, you gotta sign off.
Yes,
But you're in you're in this building quite a few times.
right,
And you know that if a span is more than 14 feet wide, that you gotta go to what, a 2 by 12
right.
joist, floor joist,
Correct.
right? So why do you have to have a stamp on a basic, common, single-family home when it's pretty straightforward and it's the same thing over and over and over? I don't understand that.
This same argument came out at the legislature when they were passing this bill, or when they passed this bill that the governor signed, okay? And it all comes down to the set of plans. If you catch it in the beginning and you see something's wrong in the beginning, why wait until you get to someone and you come back a week later for a framing inspection? They usually do rough framing all the same time. Roof is already on, and the framing's off. How are you gonna tell them at that point?
Yeah, but you're gonna have a copy of the plan, so you can see that.
Well, yeah,
Right.
you can see it, but if it's not,
I can see it. I'm not a building inspector, but I could look at the plan and say, oh, that's not right. You need a 2 by 12 instead of a 2 by 10.
Oh, well,
But
that-
you do it every day, you should be able to pick that
oh,
right
I
up.
I do, when I see it. And so when I see something is out of place, I'll give it back to them and say, I can't accept this permit until you have this rectified, or you get me the loads from your lumberyard.
Right.
These are mostly on LVLs
LVLs.
that I get from Mass Road or something like that, or Boise.
Yeah.
But
But those have stamps on them.
those have stamps on them by their engineers.
Right.
And that protects the town, okay?
Right.
But that's not on a new construction. New construction, this is set up for new construction when it says you registered set of plans. And that's the way that the governor signed it, and that's the way it was explained in front of the legislature.
I just think that a basic home in town, single-family home or a duplex, that's a basic construction, just a box, 2 by 6 walls, 2 by 10, 2 by 12 floor joists, depending on the width, whatever. I just think that you
And what
should,
happened to that fellow over there who,
well, obviously, nobody looked at that house,
no one looked at the plans?
right?
Or
So,
they did look at the plans, and they know what they're looking at.
yeah, but did we hire somebody that wasn't competent?
I can't answer you.
But because even if you had the stamp on it, it's not gonna make a difference.
No, but that takes liability off the town. If someone died in that house, liability would be on the town, if someone died in that house. And that's why this was set up, take liability off the town.
I think that's a lot to ask of somebody to have a stamp on it. When if you've got a good building inspector, they should be able to review that.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you on that, okay? However, I didn't sign the statute in, and they did. You know, the governor signed it in along with legislature, and it went through so many committees before, it went through 2 years to get us up to 2018. Because we were stuck in 2009 all the way up until 2021, okay? And now we're going to 2024 in another 5 months. So, we're playing catch-up right now.
If we're focused on the town's liability aspect, wouldn't it be beneficial to, the way you've described it, like the towns up north, would
Yep.
it not be beneficial to not have a town building inspector and make the state deal with it?
Well, then you have to pay the state. You have to pay, every time they come out and inspect, they're charging you $350 each inspection. So you can do that
And that's for every step along the way, right?
every step along the way, each inspection.
Right.
So that's where the state will come out. You can call the fire marshal to come out and do the gas, call the fire marshal out to do the inspections for the electrical. You know, you have your state electrical inspectors, they'll come out, but they're charging you $350 every time they come out. They'll do it as a courtesy for a couple of times, but after that, they're gonna charge you.
And you're on their clock anyways.
You're on their clock. And if they can't get to you in 4 weeks, they can't get to you in for 4 weeks.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's why towns, I work full-time. There's a reason why I work full-time, because I can stay on top of it every day and make sure everything's, and I catch things every day. And I do zoning too, so I catch them both. So, but,
I don't have a problem with the building inspector and
Yep.
you guys taking care of stuff and looking at stuff. And obviously you have a lot of knowledge and a lot of background. I just find it hard for the person building a house, you know, that they've got to pay that up front.
but,
On a basic, simple little house, a little cape or a little ranch or whatever, that it's not, it's so,
okay, say they built the house. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, it's okay, go ahead.
Say they built a house, and it's a 24 by 40, just a basic 1,000 square foot, whatever it might be. And all of a sudden, the trusses, they're supposed to engineer trusses, but someone decided, the guy who's doing it, and the building inspector won't catch it until after the roof is on, the rough, okay? The plans will say it's supposed to be engineered trusses, and they're not. I can use an example, a town I was in, Greenland. The guy built an addition on his house, $350,000. The guy said he knew what he was doing. I looked at the plans. The plans looked great. They were all stamped by an engineer. He never followed the plans. But I didn't get to see it until I saw all the roughs. So I walked in, and a rough framing inspection is when the roof is on. So I walked in, I'm looking and going, oh my God, how can you separate 2 inches at the peak when you're doing by your ridge board? It says, stop work now. The one was lower than the other.
But that can happen if, like you said, you got a stamped plan.
Yep.
And you got
And
people that don't follow it.
you're relying on the builder to do it, but,
Yeah.
and that's an example saying that was a stamped plan that the builder didn't follow suit.
Well, that's gonna happen a lot of times, whether you have it stamped or not
Oh,
stamped.
yeah, I know, but it's gonna happen more when it's not stamped. Another one is, same thing, East Shore, it was a remodel, I walk in, I'm looking and going, oh my God, he cut all the trusses out, engineered trusses, he cut whoever was remodeling, cut them all out. But that's what building inspectors are for. But as far as, we follow the code, that's our Bible, and that's what we go by. You know, whether you don't want to do it or not in the town, that's entirely up to you on your liability, but you're opening yourself up to liability, I believe. So, okay,
Back, do you want this back?
yeah.
Thank you.
Jack, what's the approximate cost of those plans to get the stamp?
$1,200. Some guys more or less try to gaff you. You hit $10,000, and those are guys you wanna run from. But just like anything else, if you find a competent, good engineer, he'll look at those plans, he'll find the shear wall's not in properly, or the loads are wrong, and he'll find it right away, if the beam structure's wrong, or the beam's in the wrong place. And he'll say, I have to redo these myself. And he'll do the whole thing, he'll charge you X amount of dollars. So you're not paying me $5,000, $6,000 upfront for someone that's not certified.
What do you think?
So I guess my family and I were in the early stages of a big house reno. And so I don't want to sit on this side of the table and vote on something that, because I think the law says it's a personal pecuniary benefit that you should not vote on. And so I am sitting here trying to decide, it's not something we've decided we are gonna do, probably will do, maybe we'll do. So if I were to vote on that, I think that would be disagreeable, I think. If we were moving ahead with some plans, absolutely. I'd say, I shouldn't be involved in this, but
You're not quite there yet.
we're like 50-50. So that's where I'm hesitating.
Okay.
At least, my opinion is, I am very curious what he talks about liability. If we have agreed to this, maybe that was poorly agreed to.
I don't think it ever came to the board.
Well, but the town adopted.
The town adopted
Warrant.
the state. Right.
But then I'm also curious, why would the town ever adopt state regulations if the state's gonna supersede them anyway?
Well, that's what we would go by, I would assume.
But what's the point if the state supersedes?
Yeah.
More restrictive, yes.
So, yeah, I don't love the idea, but if the town has voted maybe ill-advised to do this, well then maybe we have to do it. So I guess I'd like,
I still have the
Better
question about where required by the statutes, because R-106, it's a national document, so it gives the jurisdiction, which is either Ware or New Hampshire or both, the right to say that we don't want this, or that we will require it, is more accurate. Where have we required it? I think that was a circular discussion.
Well, I think we've always, Jack, if you want to stand back up, it's fine, yeah. I think we've always required a code.
No, but the stamp itself, the registered design professional.
That's what I'm saying. We've always required a code, right? The code that we went by was the state code all these years. So am I under the assumption, and correct me if I'm wrong, that now that the code has changed and been readopted in January 23, that's the code we're under now, with its adoptions, adaptations, amendments?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is where this is saying where required by the statutes of the jurisdiction.
Right.
So what is the statute? I still don't understand
That's
that.
something you would well, it could probably come under House bill, but as far as the statute is, I would suggest calling your town attorney and asking him. Or call me, NHMA, and they would be more than happy to let you know. You know, Steve Buckley over there.
Ben, what do you think?
Oh, it's confusing to me why it's for new construction only, but like a new addition, it's not required. To me, that's
Because
new
it-
construction.
Well, because new addition, you already have the foundation there, you have the base, okay? So you already know what the soil type is going to be, from the footings all the way up to the walls and everything else. And now, you're going to require engineered trusses, LVLs, or floor trusses. That are, and trusses for the roof. So you're gonna require that on your, while they're building. I think 90% of all your builders are gonna supply that anyways. And that's done by the lumberyard, who, and the company where they're getting the LVLs from, like Bosey or Bosquen trusses, you know, or La Valley. So they all stamp their own, their engineers stamp them. So that's why garages and that, because it's non-habitable on the garages, if it caves in, it's not gonna kill, it's only gonna kill a car. You know, it's not gonna kill a human. And that's probably what they were thinking. I'm not,
Right.
you know,
I know you didn't make it up, just that part's confusing to me, because
Yeah.
somebody that's worked out of a garage for most of their life is,
yeah, I understand.
I've
you know.
lived as many hours in the garage as I have my house.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not disputing it with you. I just-
No. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking on the BCRB board, but this went through legislature, went through 16 people on the BCRB board. Then it went to the governor's, went to the fire marshal. The fire marshal, they came up with like, it went through amendments, like 9 or 10 amendments by the time it finally came down to what New Hampshire adopted. You know, some of it is exempt on the code, but 90% of it was, 99% was accepted. So, and that's where the fire marshal has the last say in the state anyways. So, but, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So with that,
Well, are we, so is the point of this tonight just to get information from Jack, or are we looking to make a motion to,
I don't know.
right?
It just said discussion, didn't say adoption, et cetera.
You know, it's one of them things that it's, you know, a little bit of a fence rider for me, which makes it difficult, I guess.
I mean, I'm with you, 100%.
I don't think there's a problem not having them. But on the other side of things, with the price of what a house costs for $1,200 to keep the town out of liability, I don't see that being,
Well, that's where I'm at. I mean, this, you know,
that's the price of moving the excavator and the dozer in and out.
right.
But,
I mean, there is when I came on this board, the town's liability was very heavy for other reasons, but the liability coverage was very high. We were paying the premium. And I think Kai's been always under the mindset that this board's intention should be to reduce the liability of the town. That's the way I've always been under the assumption when sitting on this board. And, I mean, I surely do not want to be sitting on this board as a part of a lawsuit because the building inspector is not full-time and is not, you know, is overloaded or something, misses something by chance, and next thing you know, a building collapses in on a family. I understand the 4,000 square foot, but, and I'm with you, Ben, is, you know, some additions are larger than the original structure, so how it cannot be required for that, I don't know.
I'd be more apt to be in favor of it, it covered everything.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of putting a bathtub in or something like that, but again, I think that the purpose of this board is to reduce liability of the town. My own thought. Now, I'm not opposed to having more discussion about this, but kind of the way, again, for, like you said, for $1,200, even $2,000, it's, to me, it'll be a peace of mind for me too, knowing going in that, yeah, this is gonna hold the load, hold up to the test of time, something I'm putting my money into.
Well, if the person builds it right, and if you have an inspector that actually knows what they're doing, and they inspect the plans properly, because if they don't do that, if you have a building inspector that's not like Jack, it doesn't gain you a thing.
So,
Somebody comes through and says, yeah, everything looks great, and guess what? The house on East Shore Drive fell apart.
But it removes the liability.
and that inspector walks away, per Jack, with no liability attached to their back.
They
And it
do.
falls right to this table and to the taxpayers, because the taxpayers are gonna pay the liability insurance. So that's where my hangup is if you get somebody that's not to Jack's level,
Right.
or somewhere in between, or makes a simple mistake, we all make mistakes, and overlooks something, whether it's in the plan or on the site, which could happen anyways, on the site, where does that leave the town? The building inspector walks away and goes, oops, my bad. That's my thought. But,
I agree with the risk reduction. We are supposed to be, making sure that the town does what should be done. But in this case, I don't know, I cannot reconcile in my mind that what we're asking is actually supported by the documents. And so we also can't be asking something that's over and above without having taken that to a town vote. You could, in fact, say maybe we did do that in March, but I think I heard Jack say that he implemented this in February.
Right.
So did that town vote then come in and solidify what he did? Maybe you could argue that, but I'm still hung up on the where required by the jurisdiction and the conflict with a 310A 52 that says you shall not do it.
You don't have to do it. Yeah, you don't have to.
So,
I don't know.
so I guess, sounds like we're kinda deadlocked-ish.
I just think
How do
maybe
we-
look into it a little bit more.
How do we proceed from here? Who do we bring in that would know? And be able to put these, yes,
I would call NHMA or call your insurance attorney. And I would, Primex, I don't know if you have Primex or not.
we do.
Okay, I would call them, which is Gallagher. I would call them and get their opinion.
Okay.
Because they're handling one case for us over there. I was left over from the previous inspector. Same thing.
Okay.
And so, unfortunately, people are out of luck, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
thank
Can
you.
can I ask, not that it's really pertinent, but, who ended up paying for tearing the house on East Shore down, rebuilding it?
the town. The town's stuck with it because the town approved it. The town inspector put a stamp on it. If that person wants to sue the town for the $155,000 he has into it, he's coming. He's coming both feet.
Who did pay for it?
I'm sure the owner did.
Yeah, the owner's paid for it so far.
He's
Yeah,
saying,
the owner.
he's saying that, hold on, he's probably gonna come.
Right, I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's coming your way, I guarantee it, but,
Yeah, I wasn't looking for names, there's
Yeah, I
three
know.
people,
Yeah,
us, the builder, and homeowner, I just
yeah,
wondering who.
the builder, you
funded
can't get
bill.
blood out of a stone from a builder, you get the blood out of a stone from the town, and he'll come after the town. That's, I look for the liability on the town, make sure the town's protected. That's my job as a building inspector, wherever I am, whether it be, and as far as the question on the 2015 that you didn't adopt, the state already adopted it as of January 1st. So, and that's why I didn't need any approval at the time.
So I think we probably should get a hold of either Primex. I would think Primex, who's our insurance provider, and see what they think on it. And I think
Call Concord.
to Janice's point, I think your question is valid.
Yeah.
And have them ask of that as well.
Yeah, I hate kicking the can down the road on something like.
Oh, I do
when-
too.
When we went into this, I thought this was gonna be an easy yes or no. This isn't my wheelhouse, and
It's not easy.
really,
No.
really
No.
on the fence about more than I thought I would be, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So as it stands right now, whoever the building inspector is may or may not choose to go this route, right? He isn't forced into going this route.
He has to comply by state code, he has to comply by the code, 2018 code, yes.
But the building inspector prior to you didn't do it.
I'm not him.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, and that's part of why the house is,
Well, that was a while ago, yeah, but, I mean, I've been in
Still,
town my
dude.
whole life, I've just never heard. This is the first time in my life that I've ever heard of a house falling apart. First time.
I know what you're saying, but I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, good.
New Green, and Goffstown. Not so much Goffstown.
Still happens in Goffstown
Yeah,
with the stamp?
no. No, because we have one building right down near the water.
All right, so I guess that's kind of the direction I think we're gonna take, is to contact Primex, maybe get a hold of Buckley
In Buckley.
as well.
Buckley is,
NHMA, New Hampshire
okay,
Municipal Association.
legal guy.
They're free legal,
Yep.
and
Is Janice gonna do that? Look into Buckley?
I think, well, Nan was jotting notes down, but
Uh, I can, but
Doesn't matter, I don't care.
doesn't matter. I mean,
doesn't matter to me.
let me know if you want me to do it. Be glad to, but assume you've got it unless you tell me otherwise.
Okay. All right, so I think we check with them,
Apologize anybody's looking for
Yeah.
Yeah.
answers sooner.
yeah, but again, it's it's part of our job here to reduce the liability of the town. So, I think that posing the question to people that would know is not the worst idea, myself anyways, because I don't know. I'll be the first to admit it. So,
Yeah, I'm still hung up on the whole state
Yeah.
takes precedence thing.
right,
Like, if a town decides, we just don't want building codes, if the town decides that, well,
then what, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
why does the state get to decide?
Right. Of course, then it's, do you raise, how much money do you raise for the liability bucket, right? When you don't have any codes, or you don't follow any of the codes, right?
But if the people that live there make a decision to live that way,
Face the consequence, face the music.
yeah,
You wanna let anybody in the public say anything?
That's up to the board.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, all right.
All right, this topic only. Who's coming up?
I'll do.
We'll just limit it to 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was quick. So say we get a stamp, building inspector comes to do an inspection, makes a request to do something different outside of that stamp. Where does the liability lay?
I believe that change of the liability would fall on the town.
All right.
Because
right
I've seen
back to
it
town.
happen already.
I'm not surprised.
Luckily, the homeowner knew enough to say no, because I paid for the stamp, we're doing it that way.
Doing it the stamp way. I would
So-
follow the stamp as the homeowner.
I would. And the whole thing, to me, it's extreme, but it sounds like asking permission to own a firearm. You got a person, you're gonna hire good contractors to go in and do good work. You're gonna hire a building inspector to go in and do good inspections. You're gonna hope a good person's gonna own a firearm and do good things with it. It sounds extreme, but it's along the same lines. We've heard Tim say building inspectors are as good as they look. And the stamp is nothing afterwards. So, to me, we don't need it. So I've also worked on a project in town, with the interim inspector at the time. I didn't finish the project because I didn't like the way that it was allowed to get backfilled. You had 8 feet of concrete wall, and the way they wanted to backfill it was with almost 10 feet of aggregate against it.
Why not sand?
It was. But would you put about 10 feet of sand against a 8-foot concrete wall and have about 2 feet of it?
Exposed
No,
on the
I
top.
agree.
on the addition of the framed wall,
Oh, no
exterior
way.
wall.
No, of course not.
I didn't finish the project, someone else did because the town, I made a complaint. It continued forward. And now it's erected, and it's a community building. So. Think about that. I love finishing my work. I take pride in what I do. That one, I was like, yeah,
Thanks
you wanna
anyways.
do it that way? Find someone else, I'm not. So. You know.
Yep.
I'd like to echo a couple of things. I believe Janice is right about R 106. If you read that entire thing, not just the first sentence, the subparagraphs give the town the jurisdiction as to whether or not they're going to require that stamp. And if you can find an engineer who's going to do it for $1,200, I think that's small.
Yeah.
You're talking $2,000 to $2,500 to get any engineering firm to look at that and do it. And on a single family residence, that's why you have an ICC certified code inspector. The trusses gets a stamp from the manufacturer. The manufactured I-joists get a stamp. And as Mr. Towns said, it's, that stamp is only as good as the inspector going in and looking at it. And, if they're missing it, they're missing it. The stamp, putting that burden on, and that's not a burden on the town, that's a burden on the person building the house in the town, who's gonna have to pay that fee. And quite frankly, you should be able to look at a set of plans in the town as a ICC certified inspector and be able to approve them, and then if something's done wrong, something major in the frame, then you catch that. The other thing was the state inspectors. The state electrical inspector will come out, the state plumbing inspector will come out, the fire marshals will come out, but they're not going to come out and look at the foundation and the frame. So you're still going to need an inspector. And, we didn't require that to begin with. And I know that when the transfer station guy wanted to change the fees at the transfer station for dumping, tires and all that, he came before the board. So if you're going to require a $2,000 stamp for a homeowner, that should come before the board as a vote. I had one other thought, and I'm sorry, if I can think of it and somebody else wants to speak, I'll come back up. Oh, yes. A single family home right now with buying the land and putting a house up. I'm helping a kid through that process right now, and he only wants to build a small single family ranch. With the land, he's at $550,000 for, you add another $2,500 onto that, that's a deal breaker for some people. It's a big burden, and it was never required here before.
Anybody else want to say anything? No? Okay. All right, so I think we have a direction. We're going to go to the town attorney, well, NHMA and our insurance provider. We can get feedback.
See if the liability really will fall on us.
Yep, absolutely. So,
Thank you, Jack.
thank you, Jack, appreciate it.
Thanks, Jake.
Yep. All right, so we'll move on to department head committee items. Come on in. Before we get fired up, how many hours of sleep are you on? Not enough?
Not a lot.
Okay,
I'm a dad first, so
it's true.
I didn't have much time to nap, but I got some. Did you all get a printout?
We did not.
Are we going up?
We did not.
Thank you.
Take it away.
So, like we had previously discussed about the on-call bonuses, I had some plans to adjust that, so you can see that on, 412. We did have an increase in advertising.
So you want to call it, I see the number, but what was the
25.
2,500?
What, the wages, drivers, operators, what is the note on the side? Restructuring? Or is that
Oh,
number
that
spot?
was the 50 cents from 6 months or so back. Okay, finance administrator came in front of you guys and
Oh,
had
okay.
a presentation.
Okay. Okay.
Would you like him to just go down line by line of what's increased?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so advertising, we went up a little bit because we were gonna try some different avenues for advertising for help. Software support, 429A, that's gonna be a new line for an annual cost for software, asset management software, that I would like to purchase for year end this year. We can go over that after.
But that's a recurring,
That'd be recurring. Yeah. Fuel went down. Our drug testing went up a little bit. I also wanted to tie in medical cards for our guys as well. This comes from the same facility we do our drug testing. I think it's just gonna promote a healthier workforce for us, and if they wanna go get it, they can go get it. I think it'll be good. Fuel additives, cost of DEF, we are getting new trucks that do take it, so prices on that are going up, unfortunately. Oil, price on oil's gone up. Signs and posts, cost of that has gone up. Changed a significant amount of signs this year, due to theft and damage, so. State bid on salt went up significant amount this coming year, so that's increased a little.
And which line's the salt? No, I see it.
452.
452.
But again, we're still on that state bid, so it's a little, it's,
Where'd you get that number?
DOT? Or you get a different one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, mine went down $1.
Morton or somebody else?
No, I think the only ones doing state bids, Eastern and Eastern. They got state. Check into that, my numbers are running from when it was 49.50 still, but you
Yeah.
guys got an approved budget last year, right?
Yeah, I'll check on that.
And that starts when, that price? Starting like September this year, right? October?
Yeah.
Usually it was June, but let's check on it, Jay. I mean, that's what it is, that's what it is, I just,
Uniforms, we went up a little. We were gonna award that bid tonight, but we didn't. We didn't have as much interest as I liked in the bid, so I'm gonna reach out to a few more people and extend that out a week. So hopefully we can get that done before the end of the year.
You're not under that self-renewing one this time, right? Doesn't self-renew.
No. Page 2, knotweed control. We weren't able to get as much done as we were able to get done previous years this year, so costs increased on that.
Are we making a dent in it or no?
Yeah, we're helping.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I know I'm always chasing mine down.
Yeah.
We'll put a herd on the places that sent them, and then I noticed new stuff growing.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
What do they use?
You can't get rid of that.
For knotweed? What are they using, do you know?
Whatever chemical the state allows them, I don't know.
You know, it's not like super Roundup or something, is it?
It was rodeo last time, but,
Yeah.
You think it was Roundup?
no, it was rodeo, I think, but it's
Ro-
state, it's,
It's approved by the
they
state.
go through the permitting process of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hire a vendor that takes care of it.
And the whole Roundup thing, get off subject, but all that does is prevent it from photosynthesizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't do much.
So, well, it works, but that whole poison thing was somebody that won a lawsuit.
All right, so overall, it's $79,000 increase?
Yes. And that could change very well depending on salt, because that was,
That's a big ticket.
yeah, just about half of that cost right there, so.
Yeah.
What I wouldn't mind is, people in the same business looking into that
Yeah.
together, 'cause one of us is wrong, so one of us needs to change that line.
Street lighting,
Down.
down a little bit because of usage. Transfer station. Bonuses, same thing as the highway department.
I wasn't aware they were receiving it.
It's always been in their line items.
Okay.
So if they do get called in, which happens occasionally, we can do the same thing we do for total amount of storms, divide it.
Was that, I guess, in its day, was that more directed towards an employee similar to, well, say, John Osborne, who has CDL and plowed, and was that kind of where that was directed?
There was a lot of times the guys would come in early and
Yeah.
plow before our transfer station opened up.
Okay. All right.
I know,
Just
No,
a
Ben-
question, it's just,
I know Benji called them in previously, had them do
It's
it.
something Tim implemented, I think, and, you know, it's one of them things, they do get called in, not nearly the amount the highway guys do, and I think that was always
sticking point.
always think that was a little bit of, because they didn't get nothing forever, and that
Right.
wasn't fair.
Right. I'm not
You
saying
know, the
it
highway
is.
guys, they don't come in near as much as them, so.
Yeah, I mean, and they don't need to come in for a full 24-hour storm. I mean, they're gonna come in a couple hours before the transfer station opens.
Get the place opened up.
Blow it open.
Yep.
So that's what 468 is, for them to plow the transfer station?
Yeah, that'll
Those
be,
kind of activities?
yeah, Collins.
Come in a couple hours
Yeah.
early. Yep.
Same thing on 471, as you mentioned in the highway department budget, Ricky.
Yep.
We went up on building maintenance.
Yep.
We've spent quite a bit trying to improve some of our storage, as well as rebuilt the shed, the back wall of the shed that the cardboard baler's in this year. There's always more improvements up there for sure with the age of those buildings.
Right.
Training, we went up a little bit, $100. NRRA dues went up 3%. The cost for wheelabrator is gonna go up to $90 a ton this coming year. So that's reflected in 486. Baler wire, we spent some more money this year. An increase in cost on 498 for testing at the landfill.
Is that for more testing or just the fees went up?
Yeah, the fees went up. Went up a little bit of money on tires. And hazardous waste day. Increase that cost so we can hopefully avoid situations like we had this year.
Which was,
Running out of money way too soon.
yeah.
I think that's always the story.
So 48,000 for an increase there. Most of that comes by way of the
Wheelabrator.
trash to wheelabrator.
Which, as bad as that stinks, you're lucky that you tied into them, because that's set for
The year.
this year.
Yeah, it's gonna go up.
There's other facilities that are paying $35 a ton more than that, and you can change it tomorrow if they so want to, so.
Yeah, we're in that co-op and it's gonna go up $5 a year until
Next 7 years.
2029.
Okay.
Next 7 years.
That's easy to predict.
They told-
Anyway, yeah, $5 a year. I thought it was just 7, maybe it's 5 years.
That makes it easy to predict.
Yeah.
Good. Considering.
Well, it's not as volatile, and you can budget it at least.
Right, right.
And it's a contract, so.
Jason, you have a list of things that you charge people to dispose of. Will that change any with the cost that you've seen here increasing? None of it ties into that list?
No, that's all revolving fund. So the sewer, a lot of this stuff depends on, certification for me. I'm taking that test on Wednesday, so we'll have more information.
Good
Soon to
luck.
come on that, thank you. But mostly everything, pretty similar to previous years. I know we're kinda in limbo because we're paying somebody to do it right now, but. And water, it's pretty much the same story. We went up on the training, $49, just to, ensure that we can take classes every year if we need to and keep up on certifications. Questions?
So I guess I wanna make an observation,
Sure.
not to take the wind out of your sails. Because we did discuss this in when we hired you, was getting your sewer, your sewer certificate. But it seems like it's more cost efficient to have somebody else do it.
I think Salem brought that up at one point.
I will gladly take the credit. I don't remember that.
So that was my question, 508 and 518, are they truly offsetting costs? They're the same thing?
One's done by an employee,
Right, but
one's
they're
done
the
by
same
the
activity.
same person.
Yeah.
Right. So it seems more cost-effective to have that person continue to do it. To the tune of $3,200.
Well,
Well, I remember when we did the hiring process, that,
Oh, we wanted him to get the certificate, absolutely.
and for a couple of reasons. One, so that we had one of our own that could do it, and for two, it was a salary that had been in place for quite some time. So it was something that we could use to adjust the salary or hiring time, because the rest of the Public Works Department didn't have the money in the budget,
No, you're not wrong.
so. I certainly would think that that'd kind of be going against what we said if we did that.
Just an observation. Carry on.
yeah, and
No,
do we wanna have more discussion or change some lines around?
nope, I don't wanna change anything.
It's pretty,
In the water, it stayed the same. Okay. Anybody have any questions for?
Some of them seem like big percentage jumps. So like, or I say that, but kind of top down like that. So $8,000 for software. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, Beth's,
right?
Beth's got it up on the computer if you guys wanna.
Yeah, and then,
Jay.
yeah, if we can
Into that.
bounce back and forth.
Just gonna do it right through you if you don't.
Have a seat.
Sure. You want me to move this?
No.
So this is Jason's software that he wants to purchase with end-of-year funds. You want to talk about it, Jason?
Sure, I will a little. So basically, it's asset management for us. It's gonna cover equipment, roads, which is the town's #1 asset, the cost-wise, anyway. We're gonna be able to make work orders on this. I can go in there and, make a work order. The guys can log in and print stuff out and go out on the road and fix things when needed. If they come back to the shop and somebody's not around, and they can just pick up and go do this project and get it done. This company would, this is just one example, by the way. If we go to the next page, you can see the work order. So the administrative assistant can take a phone call from somebody possibly, and we can go through at dates, citizen requests. There's some more lines here. Phone number for callbacks if we need to. Type of work we're gonna do, sign repair in this instance here. Description of what needs to be done, address, and then we can track them all. This is gonna be a close date here, open date. So we can go back and look at what's been done. A lot of these you can add pictures to. We can actually take a picture on your phone or an iPad if we go that route. Show the guys what's wrong if needed. Then we can keep track of time and hours with this for employees, as well as equipment, which is gonna be a big thing for us. Beth keeps a spreadsheet of our equipment and hours and stuff like that, and that's something that we can go ahead and take over at the highway department, and when Beth needs a report, we can just go into this system and print the report out for her. Same with the roads. I know she, has a spreadsheet that we update every once in a while, but we can have this system, and when we need a report, we can just print the whole report out and be done with it. And then inventory, we can track inventory on signs and parts for vehicles as well. So I think that's gonna be a major thing for us. It'll make us more efficient, for sure. Pavement management. This is just getting into some of the rating, conditions, recommended treatments. So this will be easier for when we come up to budget season and we want to figure out how much money we want to go out on the warrant article. We can say this road's this many feet, chip coating costs this much. This is an estimate on what it's going to cost to chip coat that road. We can also keep history of work that's been done, paving work, rebuilding, chip coating, overlays, all that stuff. This is just an example of a work order for pavement. Here's more of your lengths and your widths, square yardage. Again, it's gonna help out with predictions for prices on road work. And that's that for an example of software for us. This is something I'd like to get.
Do you have more than one type? I mean, have you looked at more than one type of, one company for this software?
Yeah. Like I said, this is just one example of 3 or 4 so that I've looked at. This is actually the one that Goffstown Public Works uses. So I talked to the DPW director over there. He said that the guys down there use it and they seem to like it. I know he's not as extremely involved in day-to-day road work as we are over here, but he said it was a good system, so. They'll take our GIS data and they'll put it right into this system, so we won't have to take a whole lot of time and map out our roads for them. It'll be all in there. And we can just take and, it'll take some time for us to go ahead and put conditions on all the roads and assess them, but once that stuff's all in there, it'll be a smooth transition.
There's a little bit of time to upfit it.
A little bit.
Upload it.
They gave an option to do that. It costs quite a bit of money. They have to get somebody out here for a couple weeks. And
Right, check everything out, check files.
Yeah. You'll also be able, on all our roads, we'll be able to drop down culverts. We can put the condition of the culvert, what material it's made out of, length, diameter, all that stuff. So when it comes to cleaning culverts, the guy, you can send him out on the road, say, here's the iPad, iPhone, whatever.
Go do these.
Laptop. These are the ones I want you to, this is the road I want you to do, and you go, yep, I got this one, this one, this one, this one. Oh, I didn't see this one, let me go back and look for it. So, I think overall, it'll be a good thing for the highway department, and it should make us more efficient in what we're doing.
Now, does that also, you said it does parts, does it do maintenance history on equipment and stuff too?
Exactly, yep.
I really like the idea a whole lot. I feel like, as kind of a newcomer, there's so much knowledge that's just in people's heads, and something like this across the whole town would be phenomenal. Just tracking absolutely everything.
Absolutely.
That said, $8,000 is a lot of money. Does that include training?
There's year-round support from them.
Okay.
Like I said, this is only
Yeah. So,
one.
yeah, kind of Sherry's question too. So is this just a ballpark, not
Yeah.
a quote? Okay.
They were middle of the road.
Okay. And then you mentioned, iPads and whatnot. Is any of that hardware included? Or is
That
gonna
would be an
separate too?
additional cost. Yeah.
You're gonna have one iPad?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I have the town phone. We can I can do it on my end, and then we have a laptop at the shop that we can just hook up,
Down there.
and do that there. For the most part, that'll be okay. I think adding an iPad wouldn't be a bad idea,
Yeah.
but, if that was a deal breaker, it's certainly not,
Does it have any kind of, I assume the answer's no, but like a public-facing anything? Of like, hey,
Defense?
these are the roads we're doing next, or if you have a complaint, like, it
There
automatically
was-
creates a ticket for you?
There was some other systems that had that. I can't recall off the top of my head if this one does. I'd have to check back in with them.
Or even some way to just, that you could put, even if it's not directly public-facing, but you could say like, and maybe one of the other fields or screens did show that, but like, okay, 10 people have this exact same complaint over the last month.
Yeah.
Let's bump the priority. Some way to
Yeah,
track
That
that
you
kind of
probably could
data.
pull out of it, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, we've had X amount of complaints for Thorndike,
Right.
whatever, one, there they all are right there. I'm sure you can pull a report like that.
Do you
So,
wanna go
yeah,
over
I
the
really like the
cost for
idea.
this year?
Yeah, do you have that sheet?
I have it in my email.
Yeah, I got it.
Somewhere. Too many.
So implement costs set up for a year one. I got a quote from him probably a month ago or so is when I did this stuff. And this was at $5,000 a year. They said if we did it before the end of the year, he would dump off another 2,500, but, total cost 1 year, 10,500, and then a reoccurring cost of 8,000. If you scroll up, Beth, you can see,
It's a lot on that one. There you go.
so the basic package is 5,500. Work management, sign management, pavement management, all those things are, included. Inventory, parts, material, maintenance history, road layers, and then quarterly GIS updates. Like I said, they're gonna take our information, put it into their this system for us. And then it's available on anything that we have, so, not that the guys need to use their personal phones, but if they were out and they wanted to, they could.
I guess it does say they're Chrome, so if you do look at iPads, maybe make sure that
Yeah.
it would actually work.
And then I got this stormwater, I got a quote for this stormwater package. Which is just keep a little bit more in-depth track on, stormwater. All of our pipes that we have out back in stock, we'd be able to keep track of that. So that's basically it. Catch basins, inlets, outlets, outfalls. Set maintenance inspections, work order schedules for those. Again, any computer, tablet. Quarterly updates from GIS, which we don't have any of our culverts, we don't have a layer on our GIS for that, but, I think it's well worth the extra money to keep track of all that stuff.
You're saying we don't have a layer, but this would get us one?
We would put it into this system.
So we would have to create one to put into there.
We can do it right on this software. We don't have to.
Yeah, but
do it.
somebody that works for the town would enter that data.
Yeah.
But initially, it's 10.5 to get it all,
Yep.
and that's 8,000 annual.
Yep. Any more questions?
The only challenge you ever see with something like this is getting people to use it.
And even if the administrative assistant prints out work orders for guys, we can hand them out in the morning, say, here you go.
Yep.
I had visions of if we couldn't get somebody to go on the laptop, doing the same thing, printing out work orders and then just having a file on the wall that I can put work orders in there for the day, and when guys show up and they got a few minutes downtime, they can
Yep.
grab one, go cold patch or clean a catch basin, whatever it may be.
Yep.
And how do you keep track of all that now?
Spreadsheets essentially, and the administrative assistant does a good job with sticky notes.
Sticky notes.
Do you have any idea how much it would take in terms of time to implement and populate the data that we have to populate ourselves?
So we keep a pretty updated road list already, so I think it would be fairly easy for us just to update the few roads that got done here last month on that list and put it into this system. With looking at the amount of systems that I did, I can't remember on this one how long it would take, but a couple days to add the data in if you had it down already.
And how do you do it now, with this Excel spreadsheet?
Does anybody know where every culvert in this town is?
I know we found a couple when we were ditching this year, so,
Lucky us.
yeah,
More.
yeah. I mean, some of them put in hundreds of years ago, so.
Now, again, I'm wheeled maintenance, so does it have any type of reminder for equipment maintenance? If you input, say, the hours
Yep.
weekly, will it say, hey, your grader's due for hydraulic service, your whatever, does it have items like that in it? I know it's more geared towards
Yeah.
roads.
So there were examples that were more in-depth towards that. If you guys did give me the go-ahead to go out to bid and check more systems out, then I could check into that a lot more, but there were some that were more focused on strictly, highway work, and then there were some that kinda mixed both, and I would think there was one that, it was an added-on package that you needed to get
Okay.
to do the vehicle maintenance stuff. so.
Right.
I think all you can keep track of, the better.
Yeah.
And when you were a mechanic there, was working on getting lists of filters and stuff, because that had gotten lax for a few years, but I guess that's the only concern is the people that need to do it.
Yep. Yeah, I think when we move forward with a foreman, that this would be a great thing for them to do, and, they'll have their own login kind of deal, and they'll be able to adjust things just the same way as I will. They'll be able to make work orders for the guys, and, I think that section of things would fall under, me and the foreman, essentially. To make sure that stuff gets done and that the work gets passed off.
Well, I think to Salem's point, I think it's just the system's only as good as what's inputted. right? So it's, you know, it has to be a buy-in, with everybody that uses it. I can tell you that the maintenance system that we have at our place it's invaluable. I started on pen and paper 4 years ago there, and we moved that system in within about 3 months of me starting.
Yep.
And now it's just, we can just go back and we can see this, we can see that, we can see cost per mile, we can see how much the units cost over the lifetime. And it's invaluable as you grow, as something, as a municipality or a business grows and yet has less hands to do it. And we're in the same boat. So I think a tracking system, and again, and not, you know, obviously, Ben, you ran it for how many years here, right? You got a lot of mental notes, but if they were input in something like this and, you know, again, a man of your knowledge steps away, some things aren't lost. So that's,
I
you
don't
know,
disagree as long as we have the employees in place, and I'm not speaking just Jason, but.
No.
You know, an assistant and a foreman and a head mechanic that is going to input it.
it's only as good as the users.
I mean, I, before Jason, I had a couple head mechanic, I couldn't get them to
No.
put the new filter number, you know, Volvo changed their part numbers every other
3
week.
times,
and
yeah.
Couldn't just keep it up, you gotta keep it up. is the thing, you know.
I guess I would say,
Certainly not something I don't think that you would have time to sit in and do, your assistant would need to stay on,
Right.
at least for the, not the mechanics.
well, I think everybody would, yeah,
Yeah,
everybody would.
That, to make the work orders from, citizens calling in, that would definitely be under her wheelhouse. And the major things like road work and estimating and stuff like that, that'd be in my wheelhouse, and then
Yeah.
when we do get a foreman and then the crew up and running, fully staffed, I think the basic, there's a sign down over here, or it's gone missing, that kind of stuff, the foreman should be able to get on the computer and put that stuff in there, and
The administrator might be able to close it.
if we're not busy, he can assign that to somebody, or we can print it out, put it up there, and when it's done, administrative assistant can close that work order out, and we can keep that in the history.
Could you also use this for any of the equipment that you have over at the transfer station? In
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah.
keeping up with that?
Yep.
Is there any sort of contract service that goes with it that says we're locked in for the 8,000 for X number of years, or?
Don't,
Just a year by year,
just annually, yeah.
nothing saying it won't go up,
Right.
it won't go down. Right. You said this was kind of middle of the road one?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was one that was $30,000,
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah. But that was the extra package for stormwater, and, there was sewer involved in that as well, and, drinking water. And then vehicle maintenance, equipment maintenance was also in there, so there was a lot of things involved in that compared to
This.
this is leaving out sewer and water, but still in the middle of the road.
Do you have anything like this for fire, PD?
Fire has like, Firehouse software that tracks it, it's a
Okay.
reporting system, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they can, you know, they can pull the amount of, you know, vehicle fires, motor vehicle accidents, EMS calls, and they can break the EMS calls down a little bit.
I'm thinking like,
with another
like truck
program, too.
maintenance.
No, nothing to do with truck maintenance, no. No,
Yeah,
that
we
was
could-
discussed.
I'm
Fire-
wondering how much we could roll under
Roll under
one
this.
license.
Fire, definitely, police,
Might be a little harder.
the work gets split up a lot, so that one, I mean, we could keep track of oil changes and brakes pretty well, but any other major transmissions and motor work stuff, that gets sent to Hillsborough, so.
And I guess let me ask you to your point, could somebody at the firehouse be assigned a username to log in and say, hey, you know, we did, just the other week, they were doing on-spot maintenance. Could they log in and input that and say that was done type thing?
I suppose they could, yeah.
Like,
I
could
mean,
we, could we
you
do
can
this
get,
for the town and you would benefit? But not necessarily straight out of your budget if everybody could benefit from it.
Everyone chipped in.
Yeah, it's a very small portion, I think, that they would benefit, but,
Yeah.
yeah. Each employee can get a login. And if I remember correctly, you can have one or two people that have the power to actually change things around, and then the other guys are just in there getting work orders.
Users, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the idea. I mean, so
Oh,
are
I
you looking,
definitely like the
are you
idea.
looking for, I guess, are you looking for us to let you loose with some amount of money to go create bids? or-
Yeah, so, I mean, it's over the purchasing policy, so I wanted to get your guys' go-ahead before I reached out to more companies and
Spent more time.
spent more time.
I think it's worth putting out to bid.
I agree. I would agree. I think it's got merit.
Definitely has merit. I like the idea of maybe we can use it across the other departments as well. Granted, it might not be a significant impact, but keeping everything together in one spot would be even.
Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, would be nice. Are you looking to use end-of-year funds to start this out? Is that what I think I heard?
Yep.
Okay.
Be a good trial run. Yeah. Okay. Anybody opposed to that?
Opposed to going out for bid?
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to going out for
I'm
bid.
not opposed to going out to bid.
I'm not real keen on setting up something using end-of-year funds and then committing the taxpayer for many years to come without a vote.
Right. Well, I think the vote would be the proposed budget, theoretically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens if the proposed budget doesn't pass?
A lot of printing,
Huh?
a lot of printing at the end of the year, so we don't lose all the records.
Right. Okay.
All right, perfect.
Well, if he bought into this end-of-year funds, I mean, it's continuous, so would we do that, or we just put it in the proposed budget?
Put it in the proposed budget. It still wouldn't be a default number, it's something new.
Right.
And if you wanna go back, we did the same for the police department with their tasers. It was a one-time purchase. And now he's put it in the proposed budget. I think I'm correct in saying that. Or at least something, but yeah, there was definitely something along those lines. So,
I will do that.
all right.
Uniforms, like I said, we're gonna postpone that.
Okay.
Did you write, how'd that go? Because just the only reason I asked that self-renewing, you're aware they all do that unless you tell them not to, right? Okay. I learned that the hard way. The only reason yours doesn't have self-renewing one is because I wrote it so that it wouldn't again, but
Yep.
3 towns I've been in charge of, it happened to me 3 times because it lapsed in the time, the last guy left and I came in the door, so.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to write yours again this time, make sure you tell them that ain't going in there.
Yep.
And they'll tell you they can't, but they can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Perfect.
Sounds good to me.
He's not done yet.
What?
Did you all check your email today?
Yeah.
We did. That's depressing.
Yeah, we saw that.
That's discouraging.
So we need some direction on what we're gonna do.
Give us the Reader's Digest of what happened.
It definitely took the wind out of our sails. We had several meetings with DOT. We had somebody from DOT suggest that the rating would be a C2 rating once we fix the members that they flagged. That person's no longer working with DOT anymore. I think it's 3 people ago, 2 people ago.
Person changed the plan.
Yeah.
So they essentially said that they're short-staffed enough that they're not gonna take the previous person's word for it, and they can't get out to re-inspect.
Do you have anything in writing from the person that got done? Saying what he agreed to? And
Emails, I'm
We
sure.
have email correspondence.
I mean, if you've got something in writing, they should stand
That
behind
doesn't
it.
mean the next guy's gonna stamp it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean the next guy has to stamp it.
Me and Naomi met with them last week, and, they, like I said, they essentially said they don't have employees to go out and reassess. So that leaves us to hire our own engineer to go out and
Stamp it.
reassess the
Yes,
other.
The other beams, right?
Yeah, we did 8, and it's 48 out of
Yeah.
56 total, and the
Yeah.
floor, and the floor.
I know you don't have nothing in writing, or nobody said anything, but, there's been a number of meetings out there. Has there been any indication that maybe more work should have been done?
Or more work needs to be done?
So all of the work that was done on beams that were flagged by DOT.
Right.
For, dropping the weight rating.
Yeah.
Efficiencies.
So we've fixed all of the deficiencies that they marked,
Yeah.
but for
Did-
some unknown reason, they just don't wanna put their name on it, I guess. It's basically what it comes down to.
Did I understand that data was several years old?
Was from 2021, and we don't have any inspections between now and then. I don't know if that's due to their short staffing.
Changing of the guards, or?
I mean, we started this April of 2023.
Right, I
In
know.
hopes of not having to go around all winter.
All winter, yeah.
We talked about a temporary bridge, we talked about all these other things.
Mhm.
We explained to them on.
And they basically said, we don't care.
Sorry, I even asked if I could get my 80% back of what we spent.
And it's neither
How
here
much
nor
was
there
that?
now, but what was the reason they didn't go with the temporary bridge?
Well, we just thought I think, I don't say we, I mean, the group, there was meetings, and they decided that we would go this 8-stringer repair, which
Which was well under,
well under,
Yeah.
I mean, and now they're saying that, the stringer rehabilitation completed was based on the condition assessment in 21, with 2 addition years of exposures, not necessarily a significant duration of time. The deterioration rate at this bridge makes the additional exposure much more relevant to the stringers not rehabilitated. The scope does not assess the remaining 48 stringer, and is a very real potential that one of them still controls the load posting. But without looking at.
Do we know where we are in the process now, dollar-wise?
So, I did sent you 2 things, so we're started the replacement process, I sent you this.
Yeah.
yeah, we signed that.
If you guys are okay with this, which Jason and I worked with the state,
Yeah.
we have to advertise it, and there's a time frame on here of which we would get proposals back, and they suggested the time frame because of the holidays.
Yeah.
So, we're looking to have qualification packages back to us for, January 12th of 2024, in hopes we could start after July of 25.
Right, do we have a rough number of what we put into the repair now?
About $80,000.
And it was supposed to get us a C2. That was supposed to get us a
That was
C2,
supposed to get us a C2, so we asked.
per the state and per the engineer.
Jacobs did, after Jason did the repairs, as we've been down this path, looked at, done, Jacobs came out, they looked at it, did all the calculations, and sent it over to the state, and we were hoping, and I guess probably should have sensed when we didn't get an answer right away, then all of a
was
sudden
an
we
issue.
get a, sorry, so sorry.
Mhm.
It's yours.
It's yours now, yeah.
And then I said to Tom Marshall's from Jacobs, I said, well, you gotta provide us with some information, cause what's our next plan?
Yeah.
Which is why you have the information of our next cost for, a ballpark for inspection, for them to go and physically look underneath it, is gonna take them 2 to 3 days and look at the rest of the 48 stringers and probably take a hammer and tap on them. I don't know how you're gonna do it.
Right.
And then that's about $8,000 and plus the cost of the lift, and then you're gonna look at, then, as he put it, shooting from the hip, it's probably gonna cost between 20 to 30 for, the check-in, the connections and everything else. So, you're looking at almost $40,000
Again, on
to
top
get
of,
a stamp put on there, if we can get a stamp put on there. I mean, we don't know that.
right.
Do we have the 40,000 available?
Oh, yeah, we do.
And I expressed that concern to them. The more we keep forking out, is how am I gonna know I'm gonna have enough for our 20 when it comes down to it?
Right. Right.
When we did this when Benji was here before, I mean, I've heard you say tonight you don't wanna use year-end money, but Jason's gonna have some year-end money, obviously.
Right.
I don't, we're all just shooting in the dark. If we had a crystal ball and could say 40,000 was gonna fix it, but we don't know that that's gonna fix it.
Right.
So what's the impact if we keep it at the 12,000 pounds, 6 tons?
Trucks can't go.
The trucks can't use that.
Trucks can't use it.
No trucks at all?
Jason
or
goes
just-
around, does one side, goes all around town and does it all the way to the bridge on
Right.
the other side.
Yeah.
Right.
Do his salt and sand.
On
That
our
was the whole
side,
idea
yeah.
to being done. Fire
Yeah.
department can't go over it, school buses can't go over it.
The local business can't go
The
over it.
one local business that has been through thick and thin, I'm sure he's now knows of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
But we've been talking about two things for the last few months. A repair, which was this, and a replacement, which is coming anyway. When's the replacement happening?
26.
Yeah, as early as 25.
So I thought I got pulled sooner.
Mm-hmm.
We get pulled up to 25.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, we gotta get moving on it.
That's
keep
why
it-
we have to
keep it
start
there.
this process if we're
The
gonna. do
process,
it.
right, yeah. We accepted the language and everything like that a couple weeks ago, but
Do we know where the prior NHDOT experts went? Have any idea?
No.
Reach out and hire them,
they're higher paying jobs.
since they already have the background.
So if we spend 40,000 to do this, if this is what it's gonna take, then what happens?
Well, you could get, if all your stars aligned, you got C2 signed by an engineer. Or you could get, you need 48 more stringers to fix,
Right.
Or somewhere in
Which
between
is
there.
gonna
or
be,
somewhere in between.
but,
Right,
yeah,
it's
which
a
is
roll of
gonna
the
be a
dice.
lot more money.
It's a roll of the dice. Either we get a passing grade or we get a fix-it ticket.
And you don't know it, because you could have a perfectly good bridge over there that we're not using, because we can't get a stamp without spending money.
I think we're gonna have to spend money if we're gonna fix it.
I do too, and
I don't think you
I'm
can,
having a hard time keeping top of my head on, and this isn't Jay's fault at all.
No.
But I hope we learned our lesson with committees on this one, because
yeah.
we were told by the engineer, the best route goes a temporary bridge, 250,000, and the company would buy it back for half price at 125. We'd had a rated bridge get across the river and way around while they were replacing the bridge currently. Now we're gonna be about that 125, maybe to have an open bridge, maybe not. Some people knew better than others, and here we are. And there's nothing we can do about that, but I'm really pissed about this one. And, Jay's stuck with it and this will happen. It ain't his fault, but I don't know what to do. I hate to approve 30,000 and then say, no, we need another 300 to work, but I don't know. I mean, you put the money into it, you almost gotta try it.
I don't think you gotta-
That's Econ 101. That's a sunk cost, that is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the answer now.
Yeah. I'm hesitant to spend more money on a hope.
I wish, and I know they're not gonna tell you, cause nobody wants, nobody's gonna, but without being paid, I wish they had the feel of what the guy thought, or if he had a feel.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Not gonna tell you, and I wouldn't expect that, but.
if he comes out and we give him $8,000 to do the 3-day on-site, will he give us any indication at that point? If he thinks it's marginal, good? Is there any indication he can give us?
He's been under the bridge 4 times with me, so, I mean, you would think that he'd be able to give us that right now, but
And he's not willing to do that?
he specifically went to DOT, and we've sent DOT his engineered plans for the fixes. And I have a quote, "Recent load rating efforts suggest a C2 posting would be recommended for short term if the stringer repairs are deemed satisfactory upon completion."
And that's signed by Tom.
That's an email to Tom from DOT.
And he returned that information.
And they said no. And they said that email doesn't matter.
Essentially with that last email that they sent us.
Is there anybody up the chain in DOT we can talk to?
CR is the head of that department, is he not?
Yes, he is. He's the municipal highway engineer. That's who, he's got all the other ones working underneath him. He was the Nancy Mayville. Now it's this other gentleman, CR.
They've screwed us about 200 grand on this project,
Oh, all that.
because they dropped inspection before and put it down to 6. I mean, it went from fully rated to 10 ton, because they didn't come out and inspect it when they were supposed to. So,
Right. Then we put, what, 85 into it in 2016, 17, something like that?
Yeah, I put 85 into it, got us 5 years, and
Right.
then, again, they didn't do,
They didn't do their
they didn't do
inspection.
any follow-ups, and they sent me a letter saying you need to post a 6 ton yesterday, so.
Yeah, just like that. Cha-ching. Yeah.
And me and Naomi had somebody verbally tell us that they were gonna move it up the chain for replacement, we were gonna have it replaced by now. And then that person quit and got done, and we started, or Naomi did, by the time I was going, started all over again, so.
Right.
It's neither here nor there what position we're in, but it's, we haven't gotten a lot of help from the state, positive help from the state.
No,
So
no.
is this Tom still around, or is he left?
That's the guy we're talking about.
Tom's the engineer we've had on retainer for a while.
And for Salem and Janice, this guy is, in my personal opinion, he's the guy if we wanna work with on this, we're moving any further forward. He was with the engineering firm back when they built it in 97, so there's nobody who has more historical knowledge
Than him?
On it
of the
than him.
river than.
And that's Tom Marshall.
Correct.
He worked.
Yeah, because you're right, because when I called around to all the bridge qualifying people, it was gonna take them a lot of time and effort to catch up to what Tom had, even though Tom has changed engineering companies.
Right, he was still,
He's still very, I mean, he started with us in April. He
Right.
walked around under the bridge with us.
right. He's the one that also did Peasley, right? On it with a different firm?
Yeah, I think he, was he
wasn't in
SEA?
charge.
Okay.
Was he SEA at that point?
Yeah, I think it was just a different firm, yeah.
I don't remember.
But anyways,
I mean, it's very unfortunate, because temporary bridge would have been the way to go, and now we're stuck.
so,
I don't know.
yeah, it'd be nice if we could get an indication, like Janice said, even if we paid the lift and the 3 days for him to
I think you gotta do that.
use his frame and hammer and tappity tap and say, I think 6 more stringers need to be repaired, or no, everything looks fine, then we'll proceed, no, everything looks like it'll pass, then we proceed forward. Or if he says, no, 6 more stringers need love, then we back off.
Problem is, the way I read it, we're
He's
not
not gonna
gonna
do
get
that.
told that 6 more need done without the $30,000.
That's what I'm interpreting,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, if he'd go in and say you need to fix 6 more, and then I'll put a $30,000 stamp on it, that's a different story, but hate to spend 6 grand, 30, do that.
Yeah, and then say, oh, by the way, 6 more stringers.
You know, you'd like to hope that they didn't lead you wrong by saying that's what you needed to do, and you've had meetings out there at the state. It's a tough one.
Guess I'll flip a coin back to Janice. Who Why does the state have the authority on the bridge when we own it?
We can take the posting down, but
We have the liability.
it's our
The
liability.
liability.
at that
Okay,
point.
Somebody-
that's my question.
Somebody falls, goes through the bridge.
Okay, that's just my question, I was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know. Okay. I never knew,
Well, I didn't either, but I thought they threatened to fine us when I didn't put the sign up right away. Cause I drug my feet till after winter so we get over it, and they said, hey, I told you. I said, "Yeah."
That's what I was told. Again, how true is that?
I don't-
yeah, who knows with the
What we
state,
got.
yeah.
Either way, we don't wanna claim that liability.
Oh, no, I don't blame us, but. I
In
just-
reality, what we have done under there has made a safer bridge for an emergency, or those road guys who are going over it with trucks. If there's a burning house and the fire department needs to go that way, the stringers that were red listed are now fixed. I'm not saying that it's safe to go over, but it's safer than it was.
Right,
Our efforts are, under there, are not all for naught. The guys spent a lot of work under there and
right,
took some pride in what they were doing under there.
absolutely,
to
yeah,
Try to get this project done.
done. And get us back to a C2.
Unfortunately, this is where we are, and,
Right.
I need to know where to go from there.
we hired a welder to do the work, right? Am I mixing things up?
Some work.
Some work.
I mean, is there any, I'm trying to find any kind of cheaper option. Just, is there somebody, not certified straight off the bat, but somebody look under there and say, oh no, this is awful.
Somebody like a steel guy that would go in and say, no, these beams are junk.
Yeah,
And-
and then don't even bother.
Right.
Yeah, I think you need the person with the experience that can do the calculations to tell you that.
I think you need a good engineer.
Which we have one, but
I realistically,
it costs money.
we fixed all the beams or all the joists that had rust holes in them. I can tell you that. The rest of them don't.
Yeah,
What they're rated for, I
You
don't
don't
know those calculations.
that's what I was getting at, just looking
Maybe
at it.
something obvious,
Yeah.
but you
I
know,
understand.
yeah.
Can you break down the two numbers, he wanted like 6 or 8 grand for the first step?
8,000.
8,000.
8,000 and a man lift.
So, I read the email real quick, and I'm having a hard time remembering what order so with the 8 grand and the man lift, if it was junk, he may come out and say no before he puts a $30,000 stamp on it then.
Yeah, I think the first step, it
Right.
said that he would,
This is an inspection.
yeah,
So the inspection of the stringers and floor beams would probably be 2 to 3 day effort for Jacobs, assuming the use of the man lift like the town rented in the past. So we would have to cover that cost.
What was the lift price? 1,000?
Well, 2 to 3 days, it's, yeah, maybe a couple $1,000.
So we're gonna have about 10,000 in it.
The inspection.
It'll probably be less than that if I can work that out with them. We did enough business with them. It would be easiest and quickest on our end if the town could rent and operate the lift for the inspection. Ballpark cost for this inspection effort is about $8,000, assuming the town provides the lift for up to 3 days. We know this is very important to the town to get this work underway. Once we had signed agreement, the town could secure the lift. We would work with the town as soon as possible.
How long is the repair gonna take? Or sorry, the replacement gonna take?
I don't know for sure.
So where I'm headed with this
I don't wanna
is,
tell you
I mean, are we talking months or years?
yeah,
months.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple, what, 2-3 months, I said?
No,
I wouldn't go for years.
No,
yeah, who knows? I mean, they're talking a complete different bridge, it's changing the elevation of the road and everything.
Yeah.
If it's done in a year, I'd be absolutely surprised.
Yeah. So where I'm going with this is we're at the end, we're about to hit 2024. We're talking about placing the bridge in 2025. A repair would get us to the point of the replacement starting, and then it's gonna be out for, let's call it a year, for
Gonna be out
math's
another
sake.
year.
is this money better spent? So if we know, so right now trucks can't use the bridge. While the bridge is being replaced, they won't be able to use the bridge. Are there deficiencies in the detours, we'll call them, that money would better be spent on? Because we know we're gonna be
To secure
sending
those
truck traffic on
deficiencies.
them for multiple years until the bridge is replaced.
They're all in pretty decent condition.
I am hesitant to spend any money on this. But I don't want us, I know the implication of that is, okay, trucks are gonna be following the paths that they're following today. So what is the implication of that?
Right.
That's what led me to, okay, do we need to shore them up? If not, great,
Right.
but that's just me.
Are we seeing a bunch more traffic on Buzzell Hill or no?
Peasley is,
Peasley mostly?
Beasley's where we're getting the complaints.
yeah.
Yeah, I figure as much.
From residents.
Because that's no through trucking.
Right, that we've
And then
temporarily
we've
lifted.
Temporarily lifted to let them go through there.
Right,
Up and down, they come out by the middle school.
right. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head with the current routes. No?
No, I mean, during the summer months, Buzzell will have to get graded more.
Yeah, Buzzell, yeah. Some aggregate on it.
Springtime, gonna post roads, so people are gonna have to go back down to Colby. They're not coming up that way. They shouldn't be, rather.
How many miles does that add to a potential trip roughly? Is it-
I don't know off the top of my head exactly, but, I mean, it'd be essentially going all the way through the center of town, down to Dunkin' Donuts and taking a left on Colby, if you were gonna go to Mount William.
From Concord.
From Concord, yeah, from Goffstown,
Would it
doesn't
be,
matter, but
would it be beneficial to put any money into that expansion joint on Colby? That hits hard, pretty hard.
you could.
Just a thought.
That one's gonna come up soon,
Well, I know it is.
so,
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking to Salem's point, for the time being of a 18-month before it's,
yeah.
you know, would it make sense to try and redo that expansion joint on the 114 side, which seems to hit a little harder than the River Road side, just to try and preserve what we got there.
Yeah.
What bag would this money come out of?
End of year at this point. Which we're
From
talking about the end of year for the inspection, right?
I was thinking that, I mean, we did it for the repair.
Yeah,
How many years
like
ago did we do
15.
it with Hanson? We
That was-
did that when we did it, because we had, year-end money before, and we did
Right.
the same thing.
That was like, what, 85,000, I think?
So that's when you made the holes and remember you drilled it?
It was 80,000. I didn't remember where the money came from.
Yeah,
I
we
just
did
wanna
it.
I guess what I was getting at was the fund that we set up for
The
the
replacement.
replacements. Is
Still
that
there.
still there? Most-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
we-
know what we've been spending the money out of, so.
We had it figured if we hired Jacobs to do this repair, that we would still have our 20%,
And we-
Based on a,
and we
based on
did
a
the
$3
repairs
million
in-house.
bridge.
based on a $3
Based
million
on a $3
bridge.
million bridge.
Cause there was, what, 480 in there to start?
One point now, it's like 340. Right. You're also gonna get another additional
79,
$79,000 or $80,000.
A couple weeks.
No,
Block
that's
grant.
highway block grant, you're gonna get some more bridge money too.
Oh, okay.
But we were also told the other day that that highway block grant could be put into the bridge money.
Cause you could potentially might need 600 for replacement, right?
so we had it figured if Jacobs did the repair, or a different company did it, estimated at like 150, that we would still have the money by the time we rolled around to get the new bridge for our 20%. So we're still under that, but obviously,
Close,
yeah.
closer.
I guess my feeling, and I never wanna speak for anybody else, so I'm not, but if he's watching, I know Tom a little, and I feel like the way I read it now is if he went under there and did the 3-day inspection, that obviously he won't know till he does his calculations, but if he knew they weren't gonna pass, he wouldn't,
He wouldn't urge us to spend the money.
right, no.
He wouldn't urge us to spend $30,000.
The way I was recollecting it to start with, I thought it was all or none, but we do the $8,000 inspection and have a good idea. I,
I know, we've known him for,
right, I mean,
I
he's
feel the
never
same
steered
way.
me wrong, I don't feel.
The bridge replacement is 2025. Any way to pull that up, any at all?
That was pulling it up.
Yeah, I know it's from 26, but
Right.
Right.
any
This whole
further,
process takes
Forever.
a year or so to get through, so,
Yeah,
not likely.
yeah.
not likely. I mean,
In
we,
the RFQ that we worked on, it asked that the design be completed by August of '25. That's the design.
That's not the bridge.
that's not bridge.
That's
work
just
till
the drawings.
That's not bridge work till
That's
26.
design.
Well, I guess,
Because I had different dates in there and she changed them on us.
I'd eat my hat if that bridge was in the end of 25, so,
Oh,
hope so.
I guess,
Just get some ketchup.
Yeah,
I guess it wouldn't, it wouldn't hurt to ask, to Janice's point, I guess it wouldn't hurt to ask, to say, hey, you guys, he may not be there anymore, but you told us this, we did this, now you're saying this, move us up again, if you can. I guess it wouldn't
I
hurt.
think it's their funding.
Oh, great.
For $3 million, I think
I know,
they had
it's,
to
yeah, I
plan it
know,
out.
I just a thought. It didn't hurt to ask the question, right?
No,
These
you're right.
things happen as they say no.
Yeah, exactly, and they say, hey,
can't
we
get a
don't have
yes if
funding.
we don't ask.
Okay, it is what it is, but they say we move you up 6 months, 8 months, it's that much closer. Just a thought. Maybe we can move the plan stage back from August to February.
Well, she was getting concerned if we don't do the RFQ now,
Yeah.
that we're gonna be kicked down the road another year.
Oh,
'cause
I'm
we
s-
have to get it started.
Oh, I'm not saying we don't do that, I'm 100%
Yeah.
behind doing that, the RFQ, but I'm just saying
But
that,
if we do the RFQ, do you want me to ask the question before we put this out? Because if we put something out and you want me to pull it forward, this is.
There's a lot of
that-
do-over.
that's it.
I think we can ask. I mean, we'll sign it tonight, but I think we can ask if we need to change it.
Well, did
then-
you get the information out of her when we were talking that didn't sound like they were gonna pull us ahead? They were worried that they were gonna push us back because of the RFQ. We hadn't put it out yet.
Yeah, well, then we do that now, the RFQ. We can't delay anything, I mean, it was just a
No,
thought
no,
of trying to move
and
forward.
we're not asking you to
No, no, no.
delay, but I'm just,
No, I understand that, but if we don't, just throw that at you, it's okay. If we don't do that though, tonight, then we're kicking the can down the road, on the replacement, essentially.
I don't mind asking, I don't think it's gonna change, but I'll certainly ask, because like you said, all I can say is no.
Right. I mean, again, when we say, hey, we got led this way, and we've been doing what we were told to do, and now you're telling us to do something, we're into this 80 grand.
I definitely think it's easy enough for Naomi to ask, and no brainer, we're gonna sign that paper, but.
Yeah,
I guess
we're
we
gonna
need
sign
to-
regardless,
I
but,
guess we need to vote and see what what phone call he's gonna make tomorrow morning,
yeah.
So,
right?
but if we,
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah,
but if we put this out and then the state says, oh, actually, yeah, we can pull you forward, well, what about this?
I can pull it back and change the dates.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I was
thought, like, once
thinking.
it flew. and-
Yeah, well, I won't do it until Wednesday, and I think we can make that phone
Okay.
call
I
tomorrow,
think
because I'm off tomorrow, but I can make the phone call.
Okay.
it depends as much on the state funding as it
Yeah.
depends
Oh,
on
absolutely, right,
a contractor having the time.
yeah, oh, absolutely.
That's what she
So-
explained might be a
So
difficulty.
what
with-
happened, it happened back in the mid-2000s, I don't know what year, was, DES determined that any water 10 feet from top of bank to top of bank or wider requires some sort of bridge. So it took an underfunded bridge program to start with and
strained
turned
even
every
harder.
single 4-foot culvert in the state of New Hampshire into a bridge. And so now they really have no money.
And Serving Drive.
Huh?
And Serving Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember, I went to that very first meeting with Tim, and it was some very unhappy road agents, because they saw this underfunding coming, for a real bridge such as this, because,
yeah,
so.
this is a real gap, not a culvert.
Again, all these things, I guess, don't matter, but I hope for the public that is inconvenienced realizes that, not passing the buck on this, this really isn't, as far as getting replaced, isn't.
Yeah, it isn't us, it's them, so. All right, so what are we having him do? I mean, obviously, we're gonna sign the RFQ,
Well, you just
Paperwork.
have to give me the green light, we get to post it, that's all.
post it.
Yeah. You can
Do we need to
post
move
it.
that? Do we need to move that as a motion?
Yeah, cause she's gonna want.
Yeah, I would just like to be clear, if, I know it's unlikely, but if they say, oh yeah, we did you wrong, we'll pull it forward somehow, how are we gonna change these dates?
Well, she picked the dates, I had it a little bit different, but due to she being the state that we're working with on the replacement, I was gonna wait till the 15th to iron this out, she suggested I move it till the 8th. I'd have to ask her, Salem, I really don't know.
I just want, yeah, if the stars align,
I guess.
I don't wanna
guess
be
make-
flat-footed on it.
Make the motion and say it, that with the provision to change if timeline changes,
Yeah, based on input from the state.
the DOT, state DOT.
Yeah.
I will say that she has been very good with trying to get this done as quick
Yeah.
as possible
Yeah.
and working with us on it.
Mhm.
So I think the date that she changed it to is
Probably
probably
the
gonna
tightest.
be the answer,
Yeah,
but
cause we had October of 25 for design, and they changed it to August.
Okay, perfect. You own it.
Again, it's probably unlikely, but
Sure,
you never know.
doesn't hurt to ask.
Try to take a shake at it, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll move that we approve and solicit the request for qualifications for the River Road Bridge Project 110/150 over the Pasquag River, State Project 14338. As written by the New Hampshire DOT, with the provision if any dates change, that we can change the dates listed in said draft. That sound good?
Before posting, yeah.
Before posting. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Where is that? And then,
Before I answer that, if we move forward with this inspection and working on this current bridge, that'd be you, Naomi, Tom, Tom?
for the inspection,
Yeah, to move forward on this work.
me, Tom, and Naomi, yeah. I mean, for the other work that we did, I kept in pretty close contact with Tom. Naomi was involved with a lot of the contracting, stuff like that, but it'd be all of us.
Yeah, I wasn't asking that didn't think you were competent. I don't know if there's any more committee.
There hasn't been a
Okay.
meeting for I don't know how long, yeah.
So, all right.
alright,
Well, then, I'm in favor of moving ahead with the $8,000 charge of
the inspection.
fee of the inspection for, shouldn't say Tom, company he works for.
Jacobs.
Yes,
Jacobs Engineering Firm.
engineering firm.
In addition, we supply the lift. Right.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't making a motion yet, I just was putting my 2 cents out, so
Oh, I thought
I
you
can
were-
make a motion if, if there's any more discussion about it.
Yeah, and if we spend the 8K, are we willing to spend the other 30K?
I think we need to hear from him after the 8K.
Yeah, I think you gotta,
Well, I know what you're saying, though, if
Why
there's
spend
3
the
of you
8?
that are
Yeah, why
hell-bent-
spend the 8 if we're not gonna
If
spend the
there's
30?
three of you that are a no vote for that now, then it's not worth
Well,
the
like you
8K.
said, if we spend the 8K, and then we have to spend an additional 30, and then they say you gotta repair more stringers, and it's another 80, where does it stop?
Right.
I'm saying. So I think that's what your question was, is there a majority that's saying I'm not gonna vote for the 30, or whether it's a yes or no? Right? Pretty much what
Well,
you're saying.
well, I think it depends on what comes back from Tom. I mean, if he says that, yeah, I think you're all set,
It's an 8,000, yeah.
it's an
and worth it.
$8,000 deal. If he comes back and says, no, it looks like you're gonna have to spend, whatever, 50,000 or whatever the
On
number.
more repairs.
A lot more repairs, you'd have got
Well, I
another,
mean, is that the consensus? There might be some people that don't wanna spend the 30, even if he says.
Yeah, well, we don't even know if he's willing
don't-
to give us a thumbs up, sideways, or down after 8K.
Right.
great.
Well, I'm sure, I would like to think in all of our relations with him, that if we spent the 8K and he went up there and
It was junk.
it was junk, he would
It's
say,
junk.
even if it was verbal over the phone, say, I would not recommend spending more money, type thing.
So what's the turnaround if
He does the
right,
inspection.
he goes and does the inspection, and if he says it looks good, and then we turn around, have a meeting, say, yeah, go spend the next 30K, whatever. How long does it take for him to get back and say, here's the stamp, talk to the state says, great, now you're good to go with the new sign, post the sign. When does that sign go up, if everything's good?
Potential time.
Really doesn't say. In
'Cause
here,
that's-
it doesn't
I'm trying to
say.
answer your question, Benji, of like, how do I feel about it? Well, depends. If you tell me it's this calendar year, maybe, yeah. But if it turns into February, end of winter next year, what's the point?
Yeah.
So, that's what I ask.
Yeah, if you tell me, yeah, if you, like you said, February of '24, the sign goes up, yeah, okay, maybe. But like you said, if we're in August of '24, trying to put a sign up,
It seems like we can have the inspection done relatively quickly,
probably after the holiday,
judging by his email.
probably rough.
That's what I remember from the email, was that the inspection part, they could be pretty quick.
The
The
rating,
next part, yeah.
Well, yeah, because then they gotta go back to
Tom needs to file out a Form 4, which is just basically his calculations with his stamp on it, with his suggestions,
but that could take a couple week turnaround
the
time.
DOT. And then
Right.
you've gotta have DOT accept that from him, which it sounds like, from the meeting that me and Naomi had with them last week, that they'd be comfortable accepting his rating as long as
You asked that question.
he does all of his calculations
I
and
guess-
fills out the Form 4.
I hate to say this, but we're headed down a rabbit hole. Can we get anything in writing from the state that says if we put our foot forward and Jacob supplies these documents, that they rate it with his stamp, that they will then say, yes, you have a C2 bridge?
So the Form 4 is that's what that is. That is the engineer
So
saying.
that's filled out and stamped, they
this
can't say
is-
no, basically.
Essentially not. They have a rating there. They're not gonna come out and look at it.
They're gonna take his word.
Yeah.
Okay.
but-
I guess that answered my question. Because again, here we are going on, the back and forth again.
It's whatever he rates it at though.
Oh, yeah,
It's
no, I
not-
realize that.
Yeah.
It could be C2, C1, whatever, C3, I don't know.
Or good
Uh,
say, you gotta
ratings
replace 20 more stringers.
That could be the report as well.
From being under there, it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of nobody else has looked at it in 2 years.
Yeah,
And DOT says we're not gonna approve it because
Nobody's looked at it. In its entirety. Okay.
Not being an engineer,
Yeah.
but I have pretty much full confidence that we're not gonna have to repair any more stringers. The floor beams, I think, are what's in question here. So, that's
Okay.
only my opinion, but,
They sound expensive.
well, yeah,
Of course.
it's all expensive.
Yeah.
But, from an engineer at DOT,
He wasn't too worried about
not knowing anything about the bridge or been underneath it, these are, you fix this and this is what caused the weight rating, C2. Tom gets under there, I don't know his opinion, so.
it. Right. Right. I think, again,
Regardless, if you spend the $8,000 and he says, no,
sorry.
don't worry about it. You're gonna have to spend the 30 grand for his rating if you wanna, if he says yes.
Right.
So
You kinda have to spend it.
you're
to
kinda
find out.
making the full decision here, not just 8,000. Cause if you're gonna spend 8,000 and he says yes,
You're going forward.
you're
Going
gonna,
forward.
I would assume you would go forward and do the up to 20, 30, whatever it may be.
Done.
If it comes in lower than that, if it takes him less time, then
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
that's why I was asking earlier. I mean, is there 3 people that say I'm against the 30,000, so it doesn't matter what the 8? I'm okay with moving forward, and if he says yes, I guess, I hate it. I really hate it.
I
It
don't,
wasn't the route I wanted to see it go, and I'm a little worried, worried about that beam on the south end of the bridge there at the expansion joint, but I guess he'll tell us. That looked pretty scary when I was under there, but.
yeah, it doesn't say anything about how long it's gonna take to get the report done, so I think that goes back to, you know, is it February, is it August?
Right.
Kind of discussion.
Right.
Well, can we just kind of, if that's the consensus that we want to move forward, kind of make that a, you know, stipulation that he gets on it in the next few weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why did he have to ballpark that second number?
Just
Shoot
the,
from the hip, whatever phrase he used on that second number.
the amount of time it's gonna take for the calculations, from one beam to the other, if they measure out a different thickness, it's gonna be a different calculation, so,
Okay.
Right.
the amount of time it takes him back and forth with DOT as well.
Okay.
I think we gotta go ahead.
Unfortunately. I feel like we should probably, at least, well, yeah, like you said, either it's 8 or it's 30, but it's all in. So,
But then that money comes from the bridge fund.
no, it's coming, well, no, it sounds like it's gonna come out of his
Yeah, sorry, I was looking
unexpended.
ahead to the replacement.
Correct, the replacement's the bridge
No,
fund.
You said you said if we paid Jacobs, there would still be enough for the 20%.
We did that math
If we had somebody else do all the work.
6 months ago.
Yeah,
So we just wanted to make sure that there was money there to repair this bridge as well as get the new bridge.
but we end up taking some of the workload on the town level and it saved us money. Out of that bridge fund, then.
I think it's a just suggestion now to take it out of year-end money because it's there, and it's only gonna save us more money for
The replacement.
bridge.
In the bridge fund.
And future projects as well, because you've got another one on the horizon, so
Yeah, right on his tail.
I think the more money you keep in that fund, the better,
Yeah.
really, but.
Yeah, so this will all come out of, end of year.
Not out of the bridge fund.
No, the 30 and the 8 part. will
Yeah.
Come out end of year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, up to 30, yeah.
right.
Because then I started, okay, if it's in the bridge fund, well, it's money allocated for bridges anyway.
Right.
But since it's end of year, well, that's money that could be spent on a whole bunch of things, or given back to the taxpayers. I think I'm gonna vote no. I know there's some big implications to a lot of people, but it just feels like a roll of the dice.
Oh, I don't disagree with that statement. Ben, you're on?
I'd like to move forward, I don't like to move forward.
You're willing.
I'm as sour about this project as anything, but.
You're moving forward after
Move
rest.
forward, but,
You're telling me.
yeah.
I said you're telling me.
I guess I would like to, I don't wanna hold up tonight's decision, but when it comes time to write the check, if we have enough money to do your 20, and I agree, you should have as much in there as possible. I tried to get CIP and finance to go along with 10,000 a year every year, but, so I'm in agreement with you, but at least for the 20 to 30,000,
Bridge fund.
if we take it out of the bridge fund and still best confident have enough for the replacement, I'd rather write the check out of that. It's
That's fine.
30 grand back to the
Yeah,
taxpayers.
But do
That
we-
wasn't, that was just a
I know it's
suggestion
suggestions,
that came
yeah,
up.
I know, yep. I would think we could decide that next week.
I guess, do you wanna do the 8,000 out of end of year?
Yeah, we take that out of the budget, I would think.
Okay. Janice?
Or,
I'd be willing to spend the 8K only if he's willing to give us a thumbs up or thumbs down indication at the end of that.
Yeah.
Because if we have to go and spend 30 more to get an answer, I don't think I want to do
I'm not in
that.
with that. I'm not in with that, yeah. So,
I guess the thumb down would be if he comes back, says it needs more work, right?
Right.
Right.
So you won't give us thumbs up that it's gonna be a
No,
certain
but,
rating till
you
it's
know, I don't think it
calculated.
needs more work.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do
Yeah.
calculations.
Yeah, but if he says I don't think it needs more work.
I don't think it
As long
needs
as-
more work is
Right.
what
It's
a
I,
thumbs up, that's
considering a
right, yeah.
thumbs up.
Me too. Yeah, that's what I
As
was
long as he
thinking.
agrees there doesn't need to be any more
Repairs.
repair.
So you don't wanna move forward with that as long as he says he can do that?
Yeah.
With no
And
repairs.
that he's willing to do it.
I mean, I know what his answer's gonna be, well, I won't know unless till I do the calcs, but
Exactly.
I guess I'm trying,
But if
if
he,
he
but
comes
like
back
you
and
said,
says something's rusted out and this needs it, I mean,
yeah, we need to replace a beam, we need to replace some floor stringers, whatever, then,
a lot of this vote's going off of hope and.
Speculation.
Yeah, and faith that the
that the DOT
engineer that told you to do this knew what he was talking about,
2 years ago.
and the plates you put on there are gonna be good enough. You know, we don't know that. Hopefully the guy knew what he was talking about.
There's already been calculations done on the stuff that we did.
Okay,
And that's fine.
And that's been sent into DOT, that's the 8
8.
out of 56 or whatever it is.
And those were approved.
And Tom's got his stamp on those.
Yeah.
I mean, but again.
But the bridge in its entirety does
The,
not.
yeah, the basic breakdown here is that the 40 some odd other ones that nobody's looked at in 2 years.
Right. Right.
Officially looked at.
Which is frustrating, they're supposed to do an annual bridge report.
yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know how it feels standing there, getting the ball dropped on you by them. Happened to me more than once on that bridge.
Yeah.
I wish this project went a different way, but it didn't, and
Here we are. Sherry, thoughts?
I kind of agree with them that you're gonna have to see if he'll look at it for the 8,000 and give us either thumbs up or thumbs down.
it's gotta be done relatively soon.
Yeah, as soon as
And
possible.
maybe we should say up to 10,000, because you gotta supply the lift.
Yeah.
When I got the lift the last time, got it called back there, they were almost 2 days. And it was there, so
Okay.
they were pretty quick with it.
Alright. I guess, so I'll entertain a motion, or I'll try and make one, it's up to you guys.
Oh, I guess you can fix it if you don't like it. I moved that we let Jason, Naomi contact Jacobs and have them do the inspection on River Road Bridge, Buzzell Hill. I don't have the email, that was stated in the email, I guess. With the money, up to $10,000 of the money coming from Jason's budget end of the year. As long as he can, give him till the end of the year, 2 weeks.
Provided he can give us a direction.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Direction, yeah.
Provided he give us a direction, can do it by the end of the year. Because we're gonna be in the second week next week of December. So.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of a lousy motion, but I don't know how to keep it. Kinda gotta keep it open-ended a little bit.
Yeah, so, the motion is, to have Jacobs, Jason, and Naomi perform the inspection of the River Road Bridge for up to $10,000 to come from Jason's budgetary,
In a year.
end of year. And with the, requirements of have it done before the end of the year, and to be able to give us a consensus, yes or no, of approval. So if he says no, I won't give you the thumbs up, thumbs down, it's a no. It's a no on the on the expenditure,
Yep.
so.
sense.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Well,
Oh.
I'll second your motion, I'll just recap what you
You
said.
tuned it up.
I tuned
Whatever,
it up, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed?
No.
You got it.
Make the phone call. Anything else from me?
We do have some correspondence that was attached to you. So,
There's a hand raised in the back.
okay.
Rick, do you allow finance committee people to ask budget-related questions?
Yeah, we can do that, yeah, yeah,
May I?
yeah.
Neil Kirk, Finance Committee, and I'm on the town side this year. On the computer, Jason mentioned...
$8,000?
Right.
Okay.
Jason mentioned that there would be some efficiencies. Is there any way that this could be quantified? For example, over the next 2 or 3 years, we would expect to eliminate one position because of the speed in which work orders can be entered, performed, and so forth. It would be very nice if townspeople saw a dollar amount associated with the efficiencies that were mentioned. That may be hard to do, but it's a question of whether it can be done. Another thought, if it's $8,000 a year after the first year, is there some way that Jason could negotiate either a guarantee, let's say for 5 years, that the 8,000 won't go up, or it'll go up no more than the rate of inflation, or their regular increase if it's less than the inflation, so that we're not stuck with a pig in a poke, and we buy something for $8,000, and it's $12,000 the next year and $16,000 the year after, because as it stands now,
Understood.
that could happen. The other question, and it's really, I think, an issue that you folks need to decide. You're going to have about $225,000 unexpended in Public Works salary line, roughly, after the end of the year. And my understanding is we only have about half the personnel that we're budgeting. Two issues arise from that. Number one, what kind of expenditures can the board do, not legally, legally you can spend that money any way you want, but in terms of fairness to townspeople, what sort of money should come out of that? I can see you're taking the bridge money out of that. You decided not to. No, I guess you decided to do that.
To do the inspection.
Yeah, and that's perfectly legitimate. But the idea of taking that for something new, like the computer program, I think is something that's unfair to the townspeople, because that's not the bargain that they struck when they voted for this budget. They didn't vote for a computer. If you put that next year, that's fine, but not out of the leftover money this year. Last year, as I understand it, there was no money that was used to offset taxes because you had to meet your 5%. This year, there's going to be, I suspect, enough money so that you'll be able to spend some of that or return it to taxpayers. One of the ways that the relationship between taxpayers and the board exists is that the board does not use that for expenditures that were not previously budgeted but didn't come in at the right number. An example, the police chief wants $35,000 for a new camera system. That was not in this year's budget, but he's thinking of taking it out of whatever money is left over in his budget. And to me, that would be an inappropriate use of the money. That's something that the voters didn't have an opportunity to weigh in on. So if the chief wants that, that should go in next year's budget, not come out of this, just as the computer should come out of next year's budget and not this year's end-of-year money, even though legally, there's no question that you can do it. Thank you. And maybe Jason can come up with a dollar amount for that efficiency saving, and I know that's hard as hell to do.
I think I did ask if there was any contract pricing, he said no, it was from you.
Right.
It's something I can look into. I wrote it down. I'll check it out.
You could always ask Goffstown what, if theirs is gone.
Exactly.
What they've seen. Yeah. If they're using it and they've been using it for 5-6 years or whatever.
Yeah.
That works. Okay.
You said you had something for me?
There was a discussion and correspondence about the bid process.
For sand.
For sand.
Oh, yep. Partially, I guess on my end, maybe we could have taken into account the route from which pit we were getting sand from. Price-wise, they were a little far off. We're also different materials. Like I suggested to you guys, Mount Williams was the lowest bidder there. Efficiency for this fuel savings, I don't know if the mileage exactly would have saved us the
Difference.
$13 or so, whatever it was. I don't have exact numbers in front of me right now, but, yeah, I think that's where some concerns were with that.
There was also a statement in here about, the winter sand had no specifications of quality of sand requested. Sand can be offered in many specs, from bank run product to, sieve test controlled sand for specific purposes, and in some cases, particular shape specific.
Yep, so what I did, I asked several pits for what they had, several different types. I didn't want to disqualify anybody if they didn't have exactly what I wanted. I asked for their sand, winter sand that they offer, and specifications on it. So it wasn't an exact spec that I put out. It was more or less what they sold for winter sand and their specs on it.
Okay. So there was really no hard spec. It was more of just consensus of spec.
Yep. And if somebody called me and asked me, I told them what we used prior. So I mean, Mount William got the bid, but he offers 13 different types of screen sand, so it's a pretty big range.
And what was that, $6 a yard?
Yep. Yep.
On how many yards do you figure it was?
80,
3,000 to 4,000.
3 to 4,000.
you said up to $80,000, was that it? No.
No, it was
No.
lower
What
than
was
that. We
6 times 3 is 24.
yeah, we got about 30.
18. 18.
Woof.
What do you got?
6 times
Well,
4.
it's not 80.
Well, it's not
I'll tell you
80,
what it's
but
not, he says.
it's not that either.
Yeah. 4 is when you.
I was thinking of something else that we were talking about that was 80.
We were pretty close in between that 3,000 to 4,000. We got
Yeah.
like 3,400 or 3,500 and change. So
Yeah. So I guess the and there was also a discussion of the Felch farm and the winter sand, so it was basically, I think Eldon's point, and I could be wrong, but I think it was, you know, that we be more specific when we RFP things.
Yep.
In under the umbrella of RFP.
yeah, and he did express concerns to me that the routes individually weren't taken into account, and I guess I can take a little bit of the blame for that, but not having exact numbers on what the fuel savings would be. In my head, I didn't think it was $13 a yard worth of savings that we would have made up.
Yeah. Yeah, he sums up and says, adding clarity would promote more interested parties and avoid potential conflicts.
Exactly.
So,
Something to work on.
okay. Any follow-up from the board members on the email from Eldon?
No.
And a little indirectly, and maybe I just miss it, but like I get the email that goes out that says, hey, there's a new RFP, and I click on it, takes me to the town website, and then like this,
Yeah.
I feel like I never see this again on the town website.
No, it's a form.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, you have to like ask for, the bid, when you look at the bid, is
Right.
what you have to sign up for like a contact form or.
You can go on the town website and just look at RFPs.
Yeah, but once it's awarded though, it's gone. Is that your point?
no, like,
No.
like once this is posted for, whatever, a month or so.
Yep.
Like, I can never find this kind of document on our website
Again.
when they're live.
Okay. Oh, when they're live?
Yeah.
Not even after they've been awarded or whatever?
Brings me to a contact form. I mean, like, fill out your interest in bidding.
Just closed 23, oops, sorry. Closed 23.
Yeah, but if you choose one of these,
Nothing shows up.
If you do-
this, that's all it says.
Okay, all right, I see what you're
Blank.
saying.
So like, why not all this info? So I'm not,
It loses the content.
right,
You
right,
see,
right.
the posting is still there of what it
See- you
was,
see,
when it
you
was,
know,
Yeah.
but you
one of them
lose
said
the actual,
bathroom renovations.
but you actually
Yeah,
lose
but
the
the live
document.
ones you can't even see.
So you actually lose the document.
That's why it's kind of
You,
on the side of
you,
his
you know,
points.
you know what was bid, you know when it was bid, but you don't know how it was bid.
But I feel like as a town, we may lose qualified bidders who are like, ugh, I don't want to go
Yeah.
trying to figure this out.
Okay.
I
If we
think
can
that's
make it
just the
easier.
closed ones. I thought I
I
could see,
swear,
I
like,
thought
when
I
get-
could see
when I
the
get an
open
email,
ones.
well, I guess I can't, because you just pulled it up. But it takes me to that, like, exactly that page,
Yeah,
but in the open state.
I think, and if you go under, like, Public Works, I have one for uniforms,
Okay.
and it actually brings you,
But it's there, it's
On that
still,
same
it's still
page,
attached,
or-
but it's current.
it's on the Public Works,
Like a
Sub,
tab
sub,
on
sub
that.
tab,
yeah.
yeah, but it's
Oh, I
still
see what you
current,
did,
it's
yeah.
not awarded.
So what he did,
Right.
yeah,
So
he
it's not a,
posted.
it's not a closed bid.
I see what he did. So he posted it as a PDF on his page for an RFP.
Yeah, that'd be great,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I
like,
see
in my
the-
opinion.
Yeah.
Because we're losing them as they go closed.
Well,
And from ones that
even-
have
even
been,
open ones.
yeah, I have got people reaching out to me from them, getting them off the website.
But you're saying those are DPW ones that you have posted,
The ones that you're concerned with, I've tried it both ways.
even like this bathroom renovation.
Sign up for it and all that stuff, like you're saying you have to do.
Yeah.
People have reached out to me.
Yeah, I just think if we could avoid the whole sign up and just have a link to, like, the PDF would be great.
Yep. It's just not as easy to get to like this. Like you'd have to go to Public Works and see if there's an RFP there, not just go to the bids and RFP
Yeah.
tab.
I wonder.
Yeah, I don't have a specific solution, just there's some way to make it easier. Because I feel like we put these bids out and we get like zero. We get 0 responses, 1 response.
Yeah, so where the bridge one has to go according to the RFQ and what she sent me is, has to go in like a newspaper of, like, a big, a big circle. Then you could use like the Dodge Construction, you could use Construction Summary, there's other ones. But it doesn't preclude you from going to their website, to the qualified engineers, and emailing them your RFP.
Yep, yeah.
Because not everybody watches everybody's.
Place ad in paper, wide distribution, regional or state.
Yeah.
May also include trade publications, websites, and you may also send RFQ directly to qualified firms, which we do have their list of qualified
Yeah.
firms, so that's something that we can reach out and send to them. Speaking of RFPs, tree removal at,
Chase Park?
nope,
Cemetery.
Cemetery.
cemeteries.
Cemetery. East Ware.
Yeah, Eastware alone, I've got quotes ranging from $13,000 to $17,000.
For that one tree?
There's 12
Oh,
along that fence line that are losing limbs and destroying the fence and landed on his power lines. So, I mean, I know we were, $10,000 there with the cypre or whatever. I didn't wanna go crazy. I know it's late in the year, but,
that hasn't been spent this year? Any cypre money
no
hasn't
idea.
been spent this year, Naomi?
I'd have to just double check with Beth, I don't think we've done anything.
Okay.
because
Yeah, I
we're the
didn't know.
Cemetery trustees.
Yeah.
Got a number. I guess we work on it. Maybe we up that maybe we up the cypre in 24 to 15 instead of 10. I mean, we know we got work to do.
Yeah.
You're looking into the headstone,
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, but I'm gonna try to call him this week and see.
you know, so we know that there's gonna be repairs, and you know that you're probably gonna extinguish 15 quickly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think we move that 10 to 15 and go from there and see what we can
what was
do.
that money roll over?
No. No, you gotta appropriate every year.
Well, I got one bid at $17,000 just for trees,
Yeah, I know.
so.
Did Terry say we could use that for trees? It has to be inside the
It's
fence,
gotta
right?
be inside the
It's gotta
fence.
be inside the fence.
The trees are inside the
Yeah.
fence.
Inside the fence, if
All
it's
right.
not, you can't.
And those have been done before when Janet and
Yeah.
those guys were cemetery trustees, they had a couple of trees done.
So maybe appropriate 20 this year and cover the trees and 3,000 for whatever we can do in headstones. But I think that's a discussion for later.
It's a
When we
budget
do warrants,
discussion.
when we do
It's a
budget
warrant
warrant.
article discussion.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So should we figure out how much money's left this year and,
I think it's all left. I think there's 10,000. I don't,
well,
Well, he's asking that you verify how much is left, and then do we do what we can?
5,000,
for-
say.
we do some this year,
yeah,
but
some
we can
this
break it up, yeah.
I just don't wanna leave that money on there.
I'd use it
can
all.
use
What's
it.
the sense of leaving it?
Well,
Well,
just
yeah, we gotta
confirm
figure
with
out
Beth.
how much is there.
Figure out how much is there, and then we can go from there, I guess.
Yeah,
So, that works for me.
all right.
Cool. All right, anything else for Jay?
Quick question on T3, is it done?
No, no, motor's there, they're working on it.
Okay.
They told me last week, about a week and a half, 2-week turnaround time. Motor was there, I told you guys it was gonna be there on the 20th.
When I text you say it's moving?
Didn't end up getting there till like the 27th, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the motor delayed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm still crossing my fingers for the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we met with the state about the transfer station, and I'm sure we'll talk about that more another night. It's getting late tonight, but I thought it went well.
Yeah, I do too.
Didn't seem to be this big fire emergency. We need to do something, but
Yep.
I think we ought to put on an agenda and I'll talk about it, but.
Yeah, we can talk about
Especially
work
the
session.
landfill cap.
Yeah, I put it on,
Yeah, that,
I put it on for your, possible work session.
as
Okay.
far as the permit goes,
Then the
that sounds
permit,
like an
yeah.
easy discussion.
I think so.
Okay.
We don't make nearly enough waste to,
Get too concerned.
well, yeah, to be off that permit by notification, but
Right.
Okay.
I think that one that we're on is definitely overkill. And at the very least, we need to update it,
Yep.
Okay.
like we all talked about, but yeah,
Cool.
Good enough.
good enough.
All right, go take a nap.
I'll try.
Positive feedback from the people I've heard from, doing a good job out there.
Nice, yeah, big shout out to the crew too.
You and the crew.
They've, They did a great job the first storm, and I called them in this morning before commute, and everybody went out. A few breakdowns, but, nothing major. Hydraulic hoses like normal,
Like normal.
get back to it. And we were done, the guys were gone by 7 o'clock, gone home, so
Perfect.
it was relatively quick for them,
Okay.
for sure. All right?
Thank you.
Good night.
All right, now, we'll go down through. So we got the email from Andy that we're gonna table the forester contract discussion. Brings us to the manifest, which I do have an update for you guys from a couple weeks ago when you requested me to go to the Board of Fireworks, so we can update that at the end of the meeting. So, or the treasurer signed payroll accounts payables checks dated December 7th, 2023, as including the following manifest. A payroll manifest of $76,341.98 for weekly payroll, and accounts payable manifest of $44,204.83 for a total of $120,546.81. Is there a second?
Second,
Move a second, all in favor?
yeah.
Aye. Brings us to the minutes. The whole stack of them.
The first one, 9:25, we had gone through most of it, and then I had a remark on the very end about, so I went and I opened up the minutes for that day, and there were two sets of them, and I guess you and I were having a kind of a
Oh, the
failed discussion.
failed memory
It
discussion
was not,
that night.
it was not the one that should definitely
Okay.
remains sealed. And I do still think that we did seal it, but I think maybe we could do like a trial run, take a look at it, and we're
Okay.
gonna do this in February, why not just take a look at that one?
Okay.
But there were 2 sets on the 25th, and the other one on the 25th, which we did vote to seal, that was before the non-public minutes policy. We did not review it, and I disagree with what is written in it of what happened in that non-public session. So that's another reason I think it'd be handy to just take a look at those 2 as a board, see what we want to do with them.
Okay.
But
So we're gonna review.
This is on the 25th.
Yeah,
We're talking about the second one. Here's the first one that we did,
yep.
and the second one,
the second one was the building inspector,
right, which we did not.
and then I left.
Yeah, she left, and then we went to this one. This is where we were at 2 weeks ago. Was this was sealed and this was not.
Yeah, and so I disagree with the content of that one, which is it is sealed, we definitely voted for that, and this one ended up in an envelope, like it is technically sealed. I think that the best path out of our confusion is why don't we just, as a board, review it soon,
Okay.
and then we can decide whether or not it should be sealed.
Okay.
But I still think, I think we voted to seal it, and I think that the minutes of that meeting at the bottom there should reflect that, but,
All right.
At the very, very bottom?
yep.
Okay. I just didn't have the information.
Yeah, and that was clear on the envelope, like how it got there.
Okay. All right, so I guess where does that leave us with the 25th?
I would move that we approve the September 25th minutes amended to say that we voted to seal that last set of minutes at the bottom there.
Okay. And that would include, the 4 of us were there. So,
There were 5 of us at the time.
there was 5 members, but there's the four sitting.
For review, what, like,
There's 4 of us, yeah.
yeah.
So, that all right with you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right, so there's a motion made. Is there a second?
Second?
Moving second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention?
Abstain.
That moves us to the 10-9. Anything on the 10-9?
Can I just
Oh,
ask a question? Do you just pick 2 people to seal and restrict?
Yeah.
I just don't know. Typically, you make a motion by one, second by another to seal
Right.
and restrict, and
And
it's all
then
in
it's
favor.
all in favor.
All in favor.
I know it would have been all in favor. And more than likely,
It was probably me,
and then
Make the
me,
motion
and
and you
then me
second
seconding it, yeah,
You want me to amend it that way?
yeah.
I think that's highly likely.
Yeah, yeah, that's the most probability.
Okay, I gotcha. Thank you.
All right, October 9th?
I had some issues, but it was farther down. It was on line 258.
Okay, so anything before that?
A few.
Huh?
45.
45, yep.
It just says to date a couple of times, and boards should have an apostrophe.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
line 45, first page.
Okay.
First one says second to date,
Yeah, it just says to date a couple of times in there.
yeah.
And then boards should have an apostrophe.
So what do we want to do with the to dates? Just take the second one out?
Sure.
Okay.
And then I've got 103.
Okay.
And they should say he.
Say that again, one.
The word they should be he. Let me pull it up.
Oh, yeah.
On line 103.
I wouldn't call it he, I would call it the fire department would like to take over.
That's fine.
Okay.
Or like the Board of Fire Wards.
No, it's the fire.
No, you're right, you're right.
It's fire department.
Okay.
Okay.
105, reels should be reels with two E's.
Okay.
And then I'm down on 259.
And yours was two what?
58.
Okay.
Yeah, it said, meeting for Chairman Hippolyte to sign. If he won't, my email didn't say won't, it says doesn't want to.
Okay.
And then farther down, let's see, on 263, farther down, it said also the $5,000 performance bond was to be held by the logger. That's not right. That was to be held by the town. Never was a logger, and I don't remember that even being stated, because if it had been, I think I would have made a correction then.
It was in the original agreement.
It was the original agreement.
The original agreement didn't say logger. The original agreement said town of Ware. Not sure if I have that with me or not. I may have it right here. I just-
I remember it as the minutes reflect it.
I do too. Initially. And it says, because they're after that, it says the town should be the one holding performance bond. And initially it was not.
Performance bond in the amount of $5,000 shall be held by the town of Ware. It's right here in the
Well,
thing.
the document that we had at the time did not.
This is the document. This is the document. Nothing's been changed on it.
Regardless of the state of the document, I remember that happening in the discussion. And it may have been that what we were discussing was wrong, but
Yeah.
I remember-
That's
I
what I'm
remember
saying,
these
it's
things
wrong,
being
because
stated.
That's in the documents. I think the confusion was that early on, I believe Naomi thought the forester was gonna be the logger too. And I think that's the confusion. I just wanted to straighten it out, that's all.
But as the meeting went, that's the way it was stated.
On 259, going back a little, the word brought is misspelled there.
I broke.
And then the last thing I've got is 290. It says the board agreed, but there's nothing really that the board is agreeing to. Because like in the sentence prior, we made an authorization,
Right.
Just remove that.
please.
Anything else on the 9th?
No.
Entertain?
Move that we approve the October 19th minutes as amended.
9th.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Move and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
19th?
Three things. 192, where it starts.
Good deep down. Yep.
Plow doesn't need to be capitalized. At the end of that line.
Oh,
Then 204, it says it should say being a former selectman.
you got 203? I'm sorry, 204? It's like the third word in.
Former, yeah, I
Yeah.
got that, yeah.
And then I've got 253.
Yeah.
And so really it's with regards to the word someone, I'd said, I don't think we need to scramble to find someone else, not find someone. I was saying that the 4 candidates we had were good enough. So really just,
Would it be better to put anyone else?
I said the word someone else,
Okay, did? All right,
but
then. All
I
right.
think the else is helps clarify that.
Yep, okay, so we'll just put else afterwards. Anything else? Anybody
all I
else?
Is that on 253?
253, it'd be someone else.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
All right, move to approve the October 19th minutes as amended.
Second.
Move and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, abstentions?
Yes, abstain.
And I haven't looked at the other ones yet.
Yeah, we just got them, well, we just got
A couple of them we did
today.
have, but
Yeah, okay,
the 23rd's a doozy.
23rd was a long one.
Yeah,
that's long, we
just keep chunking through it.
okay. All right, table the rest?
Second,
Good with that?
whatever.
Yeah, okay. All right, administrator's report.
And I guess I would still acknowledge, we had the email from Diana Dickinson who wants a statement in the 23rd to be amended, and that will still happen
Okay.
when we get to that. Hasn't been forgotten.
Okay.
I handed you all a 3-page document. BPW touched on those, except for just the stickers. Hopefully, we're consistently watching those. I'm just gonna leave the demo open at this point. The police department items,
I had a question on DPW.
sure.
We had a gentleman during public comment say that believed he might have been overcharged for a crib. Do we know if that's
Mattress, yeah.
been put to bed? Put to bed?
I'll put that to bed.
Yeah.
Well, he
No
came
pun.
up and left me his email, at which we've corresponded.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done anything more with that,
And
because
that's
he
where,
wanted a policy.
that's where we left off,
It's a
was
flat
he
fee,
wanted the
isn't it?
policy
It's a flat fee for a crib, it's flat fee for a mattress,
For
if you
mattress,
look on
right.
that.
All mattresses?
For all
Yes.
mattresses?
One
It
thing?
did.
Okay.
That's what I found on there, but.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was, so we did say that he was gonna correspond.
guess
Right,
I
so
missed
he,
that.
he came and asked, he said I wasn't
like
gonna
you
give
were
you the
here.
email that night, so he came up and gave me his email. And then I wrote back to him, to his email,
Mm-hmm.
and explained that the policies, I'm not sure what other policies he's want, but that they were on there as far as acceptable items and fee-based, and I haven't heard back.
Yeah, so there was some back and forth, and I think that's how we had left it.
So we think it's resolved?
I went through a mattress, I mean, it doesn't specify one size or another.
Right.
Point well taken. Crib mattress is this big, king size is.
Yeah,
It's
should probably be.
6
A lot,
cents a size,
yeah.
yeah.
No, the reason it got taken away is because we had multiple sizes, and there was an argument if it's a twin or if it's a
Fall
full.
or whatever, yeah. Mm-hmm, yep,
Just
yeah, one size fits all.
fit all.
So I haven't heard back after I replied to him,
Okay.
on that. Police department, you heard Chief Moore give you an update. It looks like the radio project will probably be spring.
Yep.
And then CBA negotiations, we're next scheduled for 12/13 from 5 to 7 upstairs. Face-to-face, that's 2 weeks. Parks and Rec.
On the radio comm project,
Sure.
most of that's coming out of ARPA funds, or all of it's
It
coming out of
all of it
ARPA
is.
funds? Do we know any estimate of what we're gonna have left over after doing that project? Because
I
those
think it
funds
was-
have to be,
By 26.
26.
they have to be committed in '24 is what I thought I heard
It
from
did be
Beth.
spent by
They
26.
gave me spent by 26.
But they needed to be committed.
Committed.
We've
by
committed to
24.
some of them,
Yeah,
yes.
we've
And
committed, yeah.
We're down to very close to what we've.
Yeah, it was gonna be like, what, 100-ish?
There wasn't gonna
maybe.
be much left.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we were talking like 125.
And I don't know if
Grace.
things have changed
Mhm.
with the construction world,
Right,
with the
easy.
construction world moving it. I don't know. I don't know if.
Yeah,
I think the equipment has arrived, right?
the equipment is a two-way, yeah, all the radio equipment's already there.
We've
The only thing that
purchased
we'd
part
have
of
to
it,
purchase
just the
would be the
construction.
coax up the antennas. Obviously, the antenna we're creating at East Ware Station, I think the shacks have not been ordered for the 2 locations yet. There's some other stuff, but that was all the civil work side. And we've signed the contract with him, we just have not obtained the product yet.
Okay.
We
So-
can check on that though, Janice.
Yeah,
because-
I'm just concerned if we have any leftover money after doing the radio project, that we don't lose the opportunity to spend that
Utilize it.
other people's money.
Right,
Yeah, I know Beth was tracking the ARPA money in a separate,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we certainly can get you what's left over, what our anticipated amount would be left over.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
it
you.
wasn't a whole lot,
No, we were worried that we weren't gonna have enough, if you
Right.
remember when we put it out to bid.
yeah, initially, yeah.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec, I don't imagine at this point right now, the minute taker's gonna take that one on.
No.
'Cause things are crazy.
Yep.
I meant to ask Jay about the Bolton Field and the boat ramp, cause the water is down at the boat ramp. Conservation, asbestos removal, Mr. Lemay is working on RFP.
Is he still working on that?
Yeah, what he asked at the last meeting, which I think they're gonna define this coming meeting, was he wanted to know if there was gonna have a mandatory on-site, so that people could come walk around and
Take
do it similar to what they did with the.
A size up, yeah.
Yeah, and they could actually see what it is, and then they're gonna look at getting a price for just taking, just doing the remediation, and then remediation and
Removal.
taking it away, yeah. So, they're supposed to finalize the RFP now that he got that information, and they're supposed to finalize that at the meeting on the 13th. Yeah, 13th,
Okay.
to be able to go, he's been working with Construction Summary to put that out that way. Forester contract, as you know, we're gonna put that on for
Yep.
another joint loss. We do now have the, I guess, a temporary fire chief position filled, and I know there's gonna be an article going forward probably about full-time, but we could get that committee back together now that that is open, not vacant anymore. Collins Cemetery, that is something that's gonna be left until time allows. I mean, that's been private for so long.
Yeah.
By trying to find the ancestors and go that way,
Yeah,
it's not gonna.
it's work, yeah.
The asbestos testing on Buzzell Hill, we all agreed at that time, we're gonna put it on hold because we weren't gonna spend the money to do the asbestos that did come out
Yep.
in the testing on that building.
Speaking of that building, it's in pretty tough shape.
Oh, it's in rough
I'm
shape.
wondering if some kids get in there and that
Oh, it's very
Do a lot.
possible.
collapsed on them or something.
I think they do all the time.
Mhm.
I don't know, I don't have any update on the rental or hospitality. It hasn't been mentioned at the planning board that they're gonna move forward, I think, coming this year, so I would guess that's left.
Okay.
We're leaving the police chief job description on hold. Perambulation,
I asked about that when we went through the last time in detail, and we said that it was the fire department's responsibility to maintain that job description. I'm sorry, police, yes.
chiefs.
yeah.
Yep.
So
it is.
what's on hold about it?
Well,
We're not gonna do it here from this board.
Well, yeah, the job, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I can remove it.
Yeah, I think we just remove it.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. And then the perambulation, Henniker and Francistown are the only two that surfaced with the letters. Henniker and Francistown are both gonna wait till the spring. I did get a reply back from Francistown, said maybe if we had a slow snow, but I think we'll just wait till spring. You know,
Slow snow, I like that.
well, just that we didn't have enough or something like that, then we could go take a walk, but it's still.
Too iffy.
Service contract listing you all have, I don't know if you're using it with your budget presentations, Beth made you a list of what's up to expire. The Tebow gravel permit, I did forward you today, with the copy of the lease that you got from the Devereux Farm on that piece of property.
Yep.
As well as when you talked about on 9/11/23 when I wasn't there. I guess I'm just looking to interpret, cause I wasn't there, they talk about a removal in 45 days. Was that,
Yeah,
did I miss that completely?
You did
or
not.
no, that's it.
because the material's still sitting there.
Supposed to be
And I thought he had
removed.
45 days to use it to further his agricultural, but it was the 45 days. Did I understand that correctly?
That's what I understood.
That's what I understood it
45
as.
days.
So nothing's been done, the material's still sitting there. What do we do?
It sits there. I think it sits there, personally.
Okay. It's
'Cause what-
still sitting there.
Because what I interpreted was, again, it was to be removed to put back on the other one, and he had the 45 days, because that was,
Yeah, because there was a screener there for a while, there was a loader there for a while.
yeah. I remember that was pretty specific, that Kevin said, 45 days. And
Okay.
everybody that was here nodded their heads, which, on the other side of the table.
So you're just gonna leave it sit there?
I say it sits there.
And I guess further actions taken if we get complaints that it's being moved?
Yeah.
Okay. Eviction notice, Ricky signed all those. The landlord and tenant writs were signed and provided to the sheriff's office. Once I get the returns back, I can move forward, but it's my understanding that this is gonna take months.
It's a slow process, yeah.
So it's probably looking at spring of '24. Right to know training, we did hold on November 28th, and any of you that subscribed, I tried to put it up today, but it wouldn't put up?
I got the email and then it was
I
like,
put it up and it doesn't read the, Beth was gonna see if we could convert it.
Just, the format, don't like the
Yeah,
format.
the format, I thought I was pretty slick and gonna put it up, and then it said it doesn't take this format, so then I went to exit, I didn't mean to save and close, and that's where you guys all got the email. So I have it if you want, I'll just email it to you.
if it goes on the town website, that'd be cool. I had been thinking we could put it on YouTube.
Okay, I don't know how to do
Just
that,
like,
but I can figure that out.
we had that, like the,
Candidates.
you know, there's the stream tab and then there's the videos tab. And so,
Right, there's
like,
a live and a
yeah,
former, yeah.
live and videos.
So do you want it on YouTube, is that what you want it? Okay,
If it's easy enough, I'd.
Oh,
put it out there.
channel 6, okay. Cause I can put on a thumb drive and hand it to them, I don't know how
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
Cause they always used to.
It's pretty
if you
easy.
Right, but
So,
if you remember,
yeah.
they used to convert it from the meeting upstairs and then put it on YouTube. I don't know how to do that,
Okay,
but
that's before my
we'll get it
time.
on YouTube. Okay, and then Ricky, you had asked me to put the correspondence down so we didn't forget. We already addressed the
Yep.
email. This is where I had for work session items. I had the solid waste about, we had the good walkthrough and we need to have a further discussion. Forester, it still ends up here. The sexton still has no ad. The RFP for, mapping the cemeteries, I did talk to Betty Straw. She's gonna have an application dropped off for me. Once I fill it out, they'll have a meeting scheduled for that $2,500.
Okay.
I have not heard another update on the first right to know request. I don't know where we sit with that. The second one, Sherry's working on getting the information to me. She scanned it and it went somewhere, I don't know where.
We don't know where it went.
She's gonna come in either Wednesday or Thursday and we'll do it again.
Scan app here.
Yep.
Redo it again.
It has
Well, I did
the-
it here the first time.
Has the person you requested gotten a response saying, you know, hey, we're working on it?
I'll do that tonight. No, I didn't. And then you all saw in your, the legal, all of that was 22 and 23 negotiations from Dermot Woodson.
Okay.
Was $1,212.12. We should go play the lottery.
Good.
And then the pending litigation we have, the only thing they've done is mediation's been scheduled. I have no more, I only know the date.
Yep.
I have no time or anything. Looking further ahead to budgets, next week, you're gonna be looking at the fire department, then the week after that, Beth is gonna be here with the rest of the item, budgets. Question for you for next week. Would you like to see the library and/or Parks and Rec? Usually you see the library.
Library would be fine, I
Want
think.
to do the library as well?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Sure.
And then Park and Rec will just be with the rest of us.
Rest of the budgets, yep.
Finance Committee scheduled for the 6th, the 20th, and the 21st. The 6th, they're gonna hear, Wednesday night, they're gonna hear the police and the DPW. Keep in mind that when they go there, it's a proposed, it's not a final, because you guys still have
We
gotta
haven't-
work the numbers
Right,
together.
we haven't looked at it, right.
But to make the presentation all at once, I just thought it would spread out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So they're gonna hear those two, and then the 20th, they'll hear the rest, and then the 21st, they're gonna do all the school stuff. Ethics Committee scheduled for Wednesday, the 6th, and the 20th for December. Let's see what happens there. The 24 calendar, I don't think I have to read through it, I'm just gonna leave it on here for you. Wednesday, the 13th is the last day for petitions to, if anyone's looking to amend a zoning, historical district or building code for 2024 town meeting. Tuesday, January 9th is the last day to petition the select board to conclude an article in the warrant. The rest of them are just a public hearing and then give you the candidates' filings, which Maureen will take care of, and then things like that. I do see I have the wrong date, it's February 3rd on the deliberative session. I don't know if anyone has any other updates before I continue on. I just left it on there because I know Salem's always been very good in doing your
Yeah, I
Parks
guess,
and Rec.
I'd say unless, Benji, you wanna go, you're listed first if you got anything.
No, I don't have any updates, and I apologize, I haven't been able to go to all the meetings, and I did say that when
Yeah.
I drew the short straw, that's, I do what I can, and so I apologize to the planning board for that. The last few I've been to, there hasn't been.
Yeah,
anything
just,
worth reporting.
I sit and stream for them, so just, so they're looking at scheduling their hearings in January. They're gonna start doing a couple of zoning amendments. One they're looking at is a wetland setback, but they're gonna go see conservation first on Wednesday. so. And they only met once briefly last month because of Thanksgiving. Sorry.
Nope, thank you.
That's good. So Parks and Rec, the biggest thing, and we've seen plenty of it, is with the East Road property. Not really updates there. I guess there were some requests to us about, when we talk to town council, make sure they're included, or how that's gonna work. Just don't want to lose sight of that. I'm sure conservation has the same request. I shouldn't trust my calendar. So this Wednesday, Parks and Rec is doing a meal for seniors.
Yeah.
I guess all the tickets have been sold out, so.
Oh, good.
Sorry, anybody who's still interested. And I put on my calendar at 4, but maybe that's when I was gonna get there a little earlier.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's at
It
4.
does say
Okay,
4 to 5:30,
great.
yeah.
That's what I've got. 4 to 5:30,
There you go.
for those who managed to get tickets. That's it.
Conservation?
That's awesome.
East Street has been spoken about, and also the forest of stuff, so they're gonna come in whenever he gets feeling better, I guess.
I have an update for mine.
Oh, I didn't even, that's right, you had the, he had the one meeting.
I had my
One
meeting.
meeting once a year.
I had my
come
meeting. It was last week. It was last
Yeah.
Wednesday.
on. Yeah,
Successful meeting. There was $4,000 to be distributed, and there was $4,000 distributed between 6 individuals.
Good.
So, it was good.
Well, good job for making it to 100% of your meetings.
I try.
bring him in a blue ribbon.
That's awesome, okay.
I guess that was your last one?
That was it.
That's it.
That's it.
His one and only.
Yep, my one and only, my
So the
last.
cemetery trustees, I know Sherry and Janice went and tromped around and found most everything.
Yeah.
The checks did go out because they were approved.
Okay.
So I think there's a couple that didn't get done, right?
There were
One by
2
one.
that I,
Question.
yeah, I thought they probably hadn't been done for fall
Yeah,
cleanup.
we've been trying to take care of the one between our properties, but it's really overgrown.
Corliss wasn't done. It was a mess. It hasn't probably been done for a year, over a year, up on top of the oldest cemetery up on Mountain Road, way up.
Oh,
That, then that's not, the Corliss Cemetery? Like I say, because I was thinking Corliss down by Beaver Pond Road, at the top of 149, I'm like,
yeah.
what the hell is, there's no cemetery there.
No. Then
Really buried.
Yeah.
Gove wasn't done. Pine Grove wasn't done. And Center Square wasn't done. But the ones on Mount Dearborn, Hadley, Perkins, and Philbrook,
Those were all.
those were done. And then Whitaker on Maple Wall was done. It's been blown out.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm hoping that they're gonna make an
Still
effort to
effort,
do
yeah.
the 2 major ones at least.
Yeah, before the end of the year,
No,
or before too much snow.
I don't know that was all in the summary that I sent to her because I didn't know you found anything. You just gave me the list of what you did.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
So,
I only thought there was 2 undone.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the ones I had. So she needs that info, please.
well, I just gave it to, did you get it, Naomi? Did you write fast enough?
Bring it in, bring it in when you're gonna scan stuff.
Yeah, I'll bring it in, I'll write it down, I'll
Huh?
type it up.
Said it's snowing out. Let's get it
Oh,
gonna go
gee
soon.
whiz.
Come on.
All right, I'll quit. So,
I'll
thank you
bring it
guys
in
for doing
Wednesday,
that.
Naomi.
Can I get
Building-
back, for Parks and Rec, I was gonna say it in correspondence anyway, but we got the request about the skate park ramp, if we need anything, if he needs to do anything else before opening it back up.
The only thing, and I was gonna write to him, because when you look at, it comes up and the handle comes out on the top, he talked about, I don't know if the right word is, there's a half, what is that
Half
called?
round?
Corner molding or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Quarter
So
round.
when you grab it, it's sharp edged, on the 2x4. So in the email from Primex, we asked about
Like a
he had a
return.
word for it. Yeah, I call it like molding on the floor. It's like in the reverse so that it's not quite a grab. Like,
Regardless.
Not
Okay.
sure.
One more thing.
It needed some attention.
honestly, it's just where
Okay.
you'd put your hand there because it was an abrupt cut, and they thought it might, if you
Cut
had,
somebody straight.
it would had a groove, it
Right.
would be, it's something that can be tacked in there.
Okay.
I'll email Benny.
Okay.
Riverdale Road, tomorrow night, it's going to ZBA, and the 14th it's gonna go to planning board for approvals.
Nice.
be done.
Nice.
David Erickson has reached out to me. He evidently is gonna be the representative to come talk to us about solar, and, Rick and I both talked, and we're gonna have him come in on the 11th, which is your next meeting. The generator, as you know, is here. They're scheduled to have 2 new tanks on Wednesday, and then Thursday they're gonna come back up and run
That's fire.
they're gonna run I guess whoever sets them doesn't hook them up.
Okay.
So they
Yeah,
have to
that's
run the line, hook it up, and then APRO
We'll wire.
will make sure, it's all wired.
Oh,
It's just needs to be, the tanks need to be filled and
Okay.
hooked up. AJ LeBlanc, she said she'd get me back today, with dates for service, and I did the
Did-
same with Irving and to
is
no
there,
avail.
is there an email chain with those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, that's why I
Naomi?
do it by email.
Somebody was in the stone building, because they went upstairs, because I went in yesterday to get the stuff out. 'cause
Yeah,
they
the
had just-
handyman's been taking a look at all the buildings.
Well,
All of them.
he turned the furnace off up in the attic, so there was no heat. It was off. I went up and turned it back on.
Ask him, because he's been
I thought
really
maybe they
diligent
serviced it, and they
about.
just forgot to put the switch
No,
back
no,
on.
no, he's been very diligent about what he's
Wow.
been doing and things like
Yeah.
that, because I
It's
sent
off.
him
It
over to
was
look
off.
at, make a list at every building.
Yeah.
It was down to 37 degrees, I think, in there.
Okay. Well, I'll check with him. He wasn't, don't know
I
why he
thought it
climbed
got
up there,
serviced, and the
but
guy
anyway.
service center.
Okay,
forgot to
I
put
can
it
check
on.
on that. And then town office, handicap ramp, Brett stopped by last week and was gonna measure and do a price.
Okay. Awesome.
It was spitting snow.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have to.
Question about the Christmas and New Year holidays, those both fall on Monday. And when the calendar came out, I didn't see any replacement meetings. Are we not meeting for those 2 weeks?
No, you have to meet.
Yeah, we have to meet. You gotta do
You're
some
gonna
payroll.
have to meet between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, so we just do
Because
our-
that's where you have to decide, we always get our year end, and if you're gonna do anything with year
Yeah.
end money, you have to do that before 12/31.
So we'll have to come up with a date that's open, this room's open.
Probably Tuesday.
As long as,
I'll double check.
all right, yeah, just
But
let
you're
us know
gonna
which-
have to
what
meet
date's
in
open.
between.
just let us know what day it's open, we'll have to meet. That's all
last
there is,
week. Okay.
so, okay.
Maybe not make it the day after Christmas, though, because I may not be available.
I'll be there.
I'll be here.
Okay, any other correspondence of business that we have not talked about as of yet?
We didn't talk about the Attorney General letter. I know
That's-
not everybody's had a chance to read.
Yeah,
I read it.
Okay, again, and I'm gonna interrupt you. Chief Moore texted me and asked me for a copy, so I forwarded it to him.
Okay.
He hadn't seen it.
Alright.
And he said there's inaccuracies, he's gonna call him tomorrow.
Okay.
Just
So-
let you know that.
So I guess we table it for next time.
That's fine.
Anything else?
When are we going to follow up with legal about the East Road?
I did send it to her. I asked her for
Okay.
an answer back, but I didn't get one today.
Okay.
Because it was what you had asked me to ask her, and I sent it over to her, along with the stuff. I can follow back up and say, do you have an answer?
Yeah. Because we've had people asking us, like, from Parks and Rec.
You what?
Like Park has asked us.
Did we ever get a answer back from legal about the town seal? Weren't we gonna give them one
You
out?
guys,
Yeah, we
you
revoked
guys
that.
you guys disappeared that way ago.
All right.
No, you guys took care of that. It's
Yep.
off the
It
agenda.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we said we are gonna do department head reviews about this time of year.
I was gonna bring that up,
Okay.
but nope, you took it, carry it.
Well, that was just a question. When are we gonna do them?
Yeah, no, that was supposed to be done last month. Go figure. So, yeah, we still gotta do them.
Yep.
I guess we just set the time aside to do it. I mean, I would think a work session night would be best, but
Yeah, you're
it's
gonna.
me. And I don't think we can do all three in one night unless that's all we do that night.
Sure.
But maybe we gotta decide how we're gonna break it up, who we're gonna accomplish, and what we're gonna use for a, grading form, if that's what you wanna call it. Because we don't have anything to speak of. I know Sherry and I came up with one for but it wasn't for department heads, it was more for employees than anything. So,
Yeah, it was.
I guess there hasn't, that has not been happening, right? So
that's
like,
correct.
do we know, do we do those in public, non-public?
Non-public.
Yeah, I would assume so, but,
Yeah, because it's an employee, so it's, yeah. The one that we did do was non-public last, 2 years ago now, was it 2 years ago, a year ago, whenever we did.
You mine?
Yeah, we did.
You
do
did
yours.
mine and Benji's at the same time.
Yeah, but it was behind closed doors.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was a different format than what you use for the rest of them.
Right, exactly, because it's the next step up, so.
So
Is there-
just looking ahead at your calendar, you have 11, you have 18, and then you have the week between.
Mhm.
So you have to,
Right.
Is there a policy that we have that says how we do reviews?
Nope.
as one starting point, something Kevin was talking about before he left was, everybody pick something, and then we would figure out how to communicate that to each other, so we're not all coming in with the same one piece of feedback.
Or same questions or whatever,
But that's,
yeah,
that's not a full answer to your question, but it's something
yeah.
to consider.
And do we have documentation from prior reviews at all?
We could probably have one,
Notes,
last
maybe?
year's maybe. That's
Not
about
on
it,
some of them.
but not on most of them, no.
No?
The
I-
DPW director's new.
Yeah, so that would be, yeah, a no,
last
don't-
time you did mine, when you did his.
yeah.
We
That's
probably
been-
don't do the
That
police
was,
chief,
that
do
was
we?
2 years ago,
Been a little more than 2.
Been more than two, because I don't ever remember it happening.
so there you go.
I've been
So,
here 5.5 years.
so the answer is pretty much no.
I wanna think it was 16.
It wasn't that late ago, was it?
Yeah,
Okay, I believe it was.
it was
Maybe.
before I got here. I don't remember it.
Yeah, boy. Okay.
The only other thing I have, I would like 5 minutes to talk about the CBA in a non-meeting.
A meeting, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Did we ever hear back with the exit interview for the DPW?
Yeah.
That was in one of those minutes, and it said DPW director.
No.
No, there was 2 employees, and I had a fire employee that wanted to
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
You.
I never
we
reached
talked
out,
about it,
I never reached out because we never came up with a game plan,
Okay.
so,
We had tried to reach out, see if we had a
yeah, well,
exit interview on.
I agree,
Now,
but
is
I think we need it, we need
is
it, we need
fire
it
our
set, the time set.
responsibility? Ricky,
I don't,
is a fire one our responsibility
I
at this
don't know
point?
if it is, or if it's more so just a ear,
Just a what?
just an employee for an ear.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, she gets a hold of it, we'll do it whatever the next meeting
Yeah, as soon
is.
as I can get him in.
Huh?
I'm talking on
Yeah.
his page,
Yeah,
his wavelength.
I
not
mean,
the
we could
fire
do
one.
it next meeting, I guess, or the meeting after.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't, I mean, what do we have for the next work session? A
Well, that's what I
lunch?
was gonna ask you. The only thing, we had the solar update is all I had written.
Oh, perfect, it's wide open.
But, no,
Fill it up.
we
Also have the
also,
forester.
we have the forester we talked about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna take a good chunk of time.
Yeah, Andy.
I think we need to carve out time for how we're gonna do reviews.
I would agree. Discuss review procedure. And then we can do those interviews if they would come in. I can reach out to the one I got,
Yeah, you have the contact and, okay,
I do,
I'll try again. So that would be for the 11th,
correct.
okay.
All right, so we're kind of blending together here, but that's fine. We did get another piece of correspondence from, on the 28th. I think that was, yeah, that was after the meeting. From Kevin, asking a written response prior to unsealing or review of any sealed minutes. So,
I don't, why we gotta do that, we gotta call everybody that's ever been a selectman?
No.
Like, I had already reviewed some at that point. I don't,
I'm just,
I would,
he
I would
asked for a writ-
consider them all in draft form in that they have not been reviewed. And that when we inevitably release them, they may say something to that effect, but no, I don't think we need to be going and running everything by everybody, going
No
back in
way.
history forever.
We'd have to go back.
So I can sympathize with his concern of, well, wait a minute, I never saw what went into the envelope.
Mhm.
Like, and that's something I brought up, like, well, wait a minute, something that went in the envelope, I disagree with, so. But no, I don't,
Well, I thought we were gonna review the non-publics.
In February.
No, we were gonna look at them after Naomi put them together.
Yep.
And we've not been doing that, so I think we should start that, so we don't,
Well, I was told that the way that the neighboring town does it is if they have them, say if we did it tonight, if we had non-public tonight.
That you sealed. You didn't seal anything.
Right.
Okay, go
That If
ahead.
we sealed them, we would take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, the next, before everything got
So,
running.
I mean, it's in the policy that we just approved,
Yeah.
how to handle that.
Right,
yeah.
So, which is have a brief non-public
and do it.
to,
Just
yeah.
do it, yeah.
Open,
And,
approve.
and we've got the boilerplate in the policy that says that meeting will have these minutes so that we don't get stuck.
Right,
Right.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I think we just need to start doing that, that's
Yep.
all.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I think,
and I think it'll eliminate the concern
Yes,
that's in this,
exactly.
you know, so.
I have something I really hate to bring it up, but I went through bunch of those minutes here that we just went through, I read them through, and almost every other one, there's a couple of people that get up and speak and ask for a comment, ask for information back. And we're letting them talk for 5 to 10 minutes every other week. I would think at some point we need to, I don't know what they're looking for.
Understood.
I'd like to know what they want at least, even if we do it non-public. I mean, I just keep sitting here and I keep reading the minutes, and every other week, there's usually something up there from them, and I'd like to know what they want, what they need, whatever.
It would be helpful, I don't have the background, so I don't know what their prior issues were.
Yeah.
Don't think it would be unreasonable for you to ask individually. And if it's something that warrants coming back before us, then you'd have the info you need to bring it back up in correspondence.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay. Sounds like we got any other thing?
You know what?
No, just, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't wanna bring anything else up.
Four-
No,
four-
you're gonna
4:30
exit
was
for a
early.
non-meeting.
Yeah.
Talk about
We got,
CPA.
I got a short C2 for a follow-up.
Okay.
We got a couple of the November minutes. We were backlogged on a couple more of those.
27th and
Something
30th, right?
like is whatever going on unjammed there. So we didn't have minutes for a month.
You have.
We didn't.
I sent
We
you
got
some
two
today.
Yeah.
I'm
And
just
then
asking,
she's gonna
like,
do the 27th, and then I.
like, is
30th.
everything good there?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
All right.
That's why I said the Parks and Rec, I think, is a no right there.
Right, I just didn't know if that meant where we were is good and we're getting back to where we were, which.
Almost, not quite.
Okay.
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 All right. Anything else? All right, so before we adjourn, we're gonna have a short C for an update. And then we're gonna go into, once we come out of that, we're gonna go into non-meeting to discuss CBA.
Yep.
That sound accurate? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna move that we go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2C.
Second.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. And then we will come out, we'll go into non-meeting, and then we will adjourn.
No,
We'll adjourn.
we'll adjourn.
I'm sorry,
then
we'll
have a
adjourn, then we'll go
non-meeting.
into non-meeting, excuse me, yes, yep.